hot like 100. Hello, 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 hello.
Loading, strapped with the lyrics like I'm bowling. Keep pushing on, keep rolling. And when I listen, but I told him one more time, your favorite.
What's going on, people? What's really good? What's really good? Good morning, good evening, and good night to everybody watching around the world, depending on what time you're watching this and whenever you tuned in, to be honest. My name is Joe Blackman. Welcome to another episode of Truth is Truth. Hey, well, after yesterday's conversation, thank you, by the way, for everybody who tuned in yesterday. It was like very well appreciated. We had a very good conversation surrounding the whole LGBTQ conversation and its inclusion in sports, mainly football, really, because of what happened around the Mark Gahey situation and uh, Mesraoui. But today, it did also spark up a little bit of conversation about certain terms that are used in today's society when it surrounds women, mainly Black women and white women. Now, uh, let me know. Here's the thing. I really hope that we have some women in here today because I really want you to call in because I want your opinions on this situation. Um, I think mainly white women because I don't necessarily think the majority of black women that I've spoken to about this already have already told me that they're not offended. And funny enough, I've spoken to a couple of white people today and they told me that they're not offended. So I really want to know who was offended by this situation, right? And the terms that we're speaking about today are the terms snow bunny and was it my chocolate woman or my mocha woman or whatever they say? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I've heard the terms being used and they've been put out there recently. So I just want to know what you guys think, yeah? Please, 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 especially if you're female, I want to hear from you. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the link in the chat straight away, right? Oh yeah, I could pin the link in it. This is my channel. Right. So I'm gonna yeah, I forget because I'm always doing KG stuff. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pin the link right now and see if I can make sure I get some people in here right away. Yeah, especially women. Remember, I want to speak to women. But not supposed to sound like that, but I want women's opinion on this subject. Yeah. But all right, first of all, yeah, let's speak on what the term snow bunny actually means and where it came from, right? So reading on dictionary.com, yeah, this term snow bunny began in the 1950s as a slang term for a novice skier, usually in reference to a woman. Bunny. Um, This helped the snow bunny quickly ride down the hill, slang term for a woman who, as a green dictionary slang for a novice, frequently slopes down the skis. With all right, that's the history about what it was called. Yeah, so it started from people trying to do skiing that were novices, usually women, and it started back in the 1950s. Now, the slang became popular more recently in the 1920s, snow bunny to refer to an attractive woman, regardless whether if they are good at skiing or not, right? Apparently, it came from black people calling white women snow bunny if they found them good looking. Yeah. Now, do you find this term offensive if you're a white woman? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Because for me, I don't think either one is offensive. If you're calling a black woman a hot cup of chocolate or my chocolate mocha woman, yeah, is that offensive? Is it? Doctor, you're in the house. Super Nick, you're in the house. Is there any chance that I can get you in the room? Yeah, I need to speak to one of you ladies and ask you if you find those terms. Have you ever been called those, by the way? Even if you just drop it in the chat, yeah. Have you ever been called any of these terms? Because a lot of black people that I've spoken to today have told me that they've not heard these terms. Um, Black men specifically, actually, but black women have told me that they have heard it. So if any of you can come and tell me, well, in the chat, I'm hearing that people are saying context matters, and I do understand that context matters. Obviously, who you're speaking to or how it is said to you. Because I know that sometimes, no matter what color you are, to be fair, men can always come across a little bit brash, a little bit harsh, and a little bit out of pocket. So I guess context is key. But even if you was, you know what, even in the most derogatory term, if you, how would you find it offensive? Let me know. Yeah, this is what I would like to know from you guys. Yeah, black women in the chat right now. All right, let me know if you'd be offended if you were just walking past somebody and they went, "Oh, my cup of chocolate." Yeah, would you be offended by that, or would you be, I don't know, flattered? Let me know. Brush, you're not a woman. What are you doing here?
I was just in the back waiting in it, so I figured you'd bring me on accordingly.
No, it's fine. You stay here. Let me speak to you anyway. Yeah, do you know what? Because I want to know what you think about the situation. Yeah, because
Uh,
look, as a
yeah, go
man,
on.
yeah, from the other side, I don't know if I'm, if, look, I've been with white women, I've been with black women. Why would you be, why would it be offensive to call somebody
I think it depends. Yeah,
this?
like the comment said, context matters in it, bro. So it's one of those things that I think we have become desensitized to, and then it depends who's using it as well. Like in recent times, we see it used by people like Dr. Umar Johnson, and the way he says "snow
Yeah,
bunny," you know, there's like a certain derogatory
right.
tone into what he's saying.
Right, just because the person says it the way they say it doesn't mean that the term is actually derogatory itself, right? Now, there's been a new term that's come out recently that's been spread out there, and I do believe it's mud shark, right? Describing
Okay.
white women as hunting for black men, as mud
Mm,
sharks. Yeah.
okay. That's news to me.
So, oh, you never heard that one? Oh, I heard it
No, no.
recently myself. In the last couple of weeks, I heard this. Yeah.
Okay. There's always new terminology in it, bro. It's a madness, man. We've seen Becky thrown around for white women just at
See
large.
now that no, you see, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, you see terms like that. Yeah.
Mm,
So I know Becky is a real name, but we all know what it means. Yeah, it's a derogatory term for white women. Yo, you
mm,
just a Becky. Yeah, right. That's rude. Yeah, it's kind of the same. Look, it's not like. Do you know what? Like, yeah, okay. The term "my chocolate woman." You know what? One time I
mm,
was working, and someone said to me, actually, no, I'll go into that story a little bit later. Yeah, but the term like chocolate woman or mocha or whatever, right? It can't be as offensive as you remember back in the day when they used to say, "Oh, you got jungle fever." Remember that?
mm-hmm.
Remember jungle
Bro, there was a
fever?
movie called that. But you see, even with this kind of stuff though, with the mocha and the chocolate and all of this, does it not seem as if people are almost fetishizing that a certain type of skin tone? And it's a bit mad, isn't it? Like,
You
why
say
can't someone just be
criticizing it
pretty? Like, why are we categorizing like different shades and
because
making
it is
comparisons?
all. But bro, this is the thing. It's someone expressing their preference or what they find attractive
Mm,
about you. Do you know what I mean? Maybe they do like your skin tone. Maybe they
yeah.
do like how you look because you are white or because you are
Listen,
black
when we
or
were growing
because
up, bro,
you
I
are.
used to watch wrestling
Do you
in
know
it.
what I mean?
Mark Henry used to walk in calling himself sexual chocolate, bro.
There you go. There you go.
It was a
Yeah, and this is
madness,
the
though.
thing, right? Oh, listen. Super Nick says colorism. Right now, listen. I'll tell you this right now. I might start sounding like Mega Man if I keep on saying listen so much, but
Mm,
honestly, right? When it comes to colorism, we're gonna have a whole nother show on that. I promise you. I promise you, we're gonna have a whole nother show when it comes to colorism because I wouldn't have the name Joe Blackman if it wasn't for colorism. But we'll talk about that later. Yeah. But anyway, now when it comes to this whole situation, right? I feel that it's better to get this kind of conversation out in the open because I don't think there's nothing wrong when it comes to calling people that. Actually, Brush, what do you think? What do you
For
think?
me, I
That's what I need
never
to know.
really looked at it like that, innit? But then again, as men, I think we're conditioned to like accept these things. So this is why it's important to have a female perspective as well, man.
Yeah, do
I
you know
wish
what?
one or
Yeah, I'm
two
gonna
women
keep
would phone
dropping this.
in
Please, one woman call in. Yeah,
just
one
to
woman.
chime
That's
in on
all
what
I
their
need.
thoughts are in it. Because I do see that side of it where they can take it the wrong way, and it's almost as if it's being fetishized. Like, why would that even come to mind? you know, because like Santi's comment says, just here, you know, we don't discriminate. Attractive girls come in every shade, size, and shape.
Yeah, do you know what? I
So why
agree.
is it that
Yeah,
we zoom in on one or
I
two of these
agree.
things? Yeah.
And I do know that some people in this chat are with different races. I know that for a
Hmm.
fact. Yeah. Some people in this chat are with different races. Yeah. And do you know what the thing does as well? It causes such a great divide when people keep see that you see what you said about the Dr. Umars and things like that
Yeah.
that try to use certain terms and then make it into something that it's not. I think that's what's
Hmm.
happening here because people know certain characters that like to use terms of endearment and take them and make them into something derogatory that makes it feel that everybody that says it is being rude to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I hear that, especially with the rest of his speech as well. It's just the fact that that's the word he uses in it, but it's really the rest of the speech that then makes that derogatory. You know,
There you go. Actually, it's the follow up. I
it's the
think with
follow up.
everything
Yeah,
in his context. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because
Um.
that's the thing. Because if you're just hearing little bits as well of Dr. Umar, he sounds wild. Like, because I've listened to the long term
Hey,
podcasts
hey,
and stuff
hey!
in it.
I found out yesterday that if you can clip anybody and it sounds wild. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I found that out
So,
yesterday. Yeah.
so I've listened to his long interviews, and you know, it's one of those where some things he says makes perfect sense to me, and other things are out there in it. But everyone's entitled to their
I
opinion at the end of the day.
funny enough, right? I've listened to all sorts of content creators over the years,
Hmm.
right? Especially, do you know what? Especially since the red pill community came up and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
You
you
would
did
think
a
for
really good
something,
show on that actually.
bro. Listen, I've got more to say on that because you know what? Yeah,
Hmm.
there's a guy right now, yeah, called MTR, and he's the most level-headed, I would say, red pill community person because he separates himself from certain people, and he's a person that says that you know what, certain people on here they claim to be red pill, but they're this and they're that. By the way, I'm
Yeah.
not claiming to be red pill. I'm more blue
Hmm.
pill than I am red pill. Yeah, my family's full of women. Yeah, but I will say this: the way that he conducts himself shows you that there's a different side to every coin. Yeah. Every coin on this planet sometimes get misrepresented. Yeah.
Hmm.
And when people like Dr. Umar, you know, uses certain terms derogatory, uses it for derogatory terms, yeah, then it comes across that it changes the meaning of the word. Just like yesterday when I was trying to explain the meaning of gay. Do you know
Hmm.
what I mean? It meant one thing, and then the term changed. There's so many words over the years that have changed.
That is very true. But then as things change, you know, people don't use it for the former, if that makes sense. It's like because of the way the words change, like that's why people that the old you know meaning isn't really associated with that no more in it. So people don't just heterosexuals don't just go out and say, oh, you know, I'm gay today. Like, do you know what I mean? Because it's
Hmm.
not going to be taken as I'm happy today.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah,
That's
but
the thing.
that one's gone through generations of change. Do you
Yeah.
understand what
So
I
that's
mean?
the thing.
The
So
whole
even with the snow bunny thing, bro, if it's
it said,
associated
like as
now,
I said, it started back in the 1950s. It says right.
mm,
It started back in the 1950s. Yeah, and then was used recently, only in the recent
yeah,
2000s as a term to be a nice term for a black man calling a white woman a snow bunny. Oh, sorry,
mm.
or the black crowd calling a white woman a snow bunny, right?
And you touched
So
on one important thing from the 90s, the jungle fever one, and that's quite problematic because that just reminded me now. I think it was in like 2008. There was like a Vogue magazine cover, bro, with Giselle Bundchen and LeBron James, and they tried to recreate a scene from what's the
the
King
movie.
Kong, is it that climbs the tower and that with the girl? They
Don't get
basically
he was King Kong, yeah.
they redid that, but with LeBron and Giselle. Like, you know how mad that is.
Yeah, that's funky, bro.
Hmm.
That's terrible. Or you talk? Oh, Dad, nah.
So
Really?
so that's
Is
the
that
kind
what
of
we're
things we
doing?
have to be cognizant and about when these terms are being thrown out, like because obviously there are societal impacts. And like you say, words change meaning over time, innit? So we do have to keep an eye on these things.
Listen, yeah. First things first when it comes to that situation, yeah. I'm, do you know what? I find it mad that he would agree to something like that. I'm sitting there
Yeah.
thinking, he really did that? Why would you do that? Where's your sense of pride? You
To
know
be
what they're
honest
getting
though,
at.
bro, they do all of this stuff like on green screen and that, innit? So do you think it's a case of he didn't even know what the end product was going to look like?
Well, no, what was he dressed like? 'Cause
I mean, he was just
I don't
dressed
know
as
the
a.
Vogue magazine cover that you're
He
talking
was.
about.
Oh, do you know what? If I don't know if you can pull up and share screen, we can Google it right now, bro. He was just dressed in his basketball attire, innit? So done on a green
Okay.
screen, he probably didn't know the context of it. Like it's a very old film, innit?
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, even did he complain about it afterwards? There was no
It's
uproar,
when
was there?
it's when you see the side by side, you're like, yo, how did nobody bring this up and think this was an issue?
He knows, bro. He knows. Yeah, but sometimes people like to ignore things because of publicity. Do
Mm.
you know what I mean?
And also,
Yeah,
these kind of things
sometimes.
happen, Joe, because it's not representation at the highest levels, even in them boardrooms and that.
Hold on, let me read Manchester comment here. It said it was only legal until 1967 for biracial couples to get married in the US. Okay. It was it was illegal until 1967. Okay, said it again. Okay, shame. Right, I did not know that. 1967. You
Yeah,
know,
you
we
see how
wasn't even
crazy
allowed
that
to
is.
get married. You wasn't ever allowed to get married to the opposite
Mm.
race. Do you know what I mean? No
Bro,
biracial couples
bro,
down here.
in South Africa, the apartheid only ended in
Hold
the
on,
early 90s.
1 second. That means we wouldn't have any Coley. What's going on, Coley? What's going on, bro?
No, you can't
Alright.
do that. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Yes,
No,
I
no,
can.
That's
no,
a
Yes,
mad,
I
no.
can.
that's a mad way to bring that in.
That's crazy, bro.
We wouldn't have no Coley, bro. What are you talking about?
No, this is racism, fam.
No, bro. That's what it was. That's what it was. Today.
No, you know what? You bring up an interesting topic here. This is a slight sidetrack, but I've always pondered the fact that mixed race people are quite new to just
Society.
life, just life, bro. Like,
Oh, you say that. You say that, yeah. But that's not true.
let me
Long,
be
long
more
time.
specific then. Yeah, let me be more specific because you're actually very correct there. Contrasting mixed race, where you get one half is from like, because you get mixes that are like literally from opposite sides of the planet right now. You get mixes that are like Japanese and Brazilian,
I
or
get you.
do you see where I'm coming from? Like,
No, I get what you mean. You have a wider range of mixes nowadays than you did have back in the day. Simple. Yeah.
yeah, it's just
It's
it's new, isn't it? Like from a biological perspective, I bet there's things interesting to observe in
saying
that
that
sense.
though. Imagine back in the day though. Yeah. I'm gonna say, imagine when slavery was really rife. Yeah.
Mm,
We all know the stories of what used to happen to certain slaves back in the day. Yeah.
mm,
People were there were the R word, grape was going on, you know what I
mm.
mean? Yeah. People were being exploited for what they have, and then how do you think you got lighter skinned slaves? Where do you think they came from? Where do you
Yeah,
think they came from?
exactly,
Yeah,
bro. I've
slave
seen roots.
masters,
I've seen roots,
slave
fam.
masters.
I've
There
seen
you
roots. Say
go.
no more.
Where do you think you get the lighter skinned slaves from? They didn't come from nowhere. They didn't all of a sudden there's a light one. No, that guy there did that to that person, and now we got a light one.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then
But there's
things.
differences though, innit? There's differences between a light skinned black person and a mixed race person in terms of being
Oh, do you
half
know what?
white,
I'm gonna
half
drop
black.
a bomb for that. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm glad people know that. Yeah, speak on it. But we're gonna, you know what? We're gonna speak on it. But there's a something we're gonna touch on. Yeah, colorism. That we're gonna save that for another day. Yeah, because I really want to have the colorism talk. But I want it to be a day when we're a lot of people here and we can really have that conversation deeply. But yeah, continue what you were saying, please, Cody.
What in terms of there's a difference. Well, the difference I was speaking to is you have direct results of mixed races mixing, i.e., the slave master and the slave. But
Yep,
then you
yep.
also have light skins who, as far as I'm aware, I think it's a bit more subtle than that, because like if you look at like the different shades of black that you've got according to location, like a lot of Caribbeans are lighter than a lot of Africans. No, what is that? Is that because they're different
I feel
tribes?
like the colorism conversation is gonna come out real soon. You know, like I feel I'm trying to do it for another show, but you know what? Yeah,
Yeah, no, I was just
It kind
I'm
of
just
bleeds
trying to
into that,
finish
though,
that.
isn't it, Joe?
yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah.
You know, it feeds into each
Mm.
other. To be fair, yeah, because the need and the want sometimes for some people to be validated by the other race does come from colorism. So I do understand how we're going to touch on
Colonialism as well, bro.
it. Yeah, hold on, so you know we.
Tribalism, bro.
Yo, young Pappy, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, family. Everything is good.
How you doing, fam? Listen, quick question. What part of the world are you calling from?
Bermuda.
You're
Damn.
calling from Bermuda. I love that. Hey, listen, round of applause. Now listen, also, where would you are you born in Bermuda?
Yeah,
Yeah, born and raised, yeah?
yeah.
All right. So what's life like in Bermuda in terms of like mixed race couples? Let me ask you.
Well, to be fair, I went to a private school, which here is, majority white.
Yeah.
So a lot of interracial, couples for the most part, and yeah, me personally, I'm light skinned, so.
You get light skin tax, yeah?
it,
And
it
if
makes
you
it
free the
it makes
flag
do
it
of
a
you
lot
Bermuda as
easier when
well,
I
you'll
travel
understand
around.
why.
but here's the thing, yeah. Do you feel in Bermuda that it's shunned upon to have mixed race couples?
Uh, 30, 40 years ago, yes. I want to
Nowadays?
say it's changing a lot nowadays. It's becoming a lot more accepted with more of the younger community.
I could say 30, 40 years
Like,
ago, all across the world, it was the same, if I'm being honest. You know, I
yeah,
went
yeah,
alive
Mm,
yeah.
40 years
Not
ago.
30,
But
90, 30, 40 years ago, bro. That's like when I was born. That's
that's what I'm saying. 40 years
Damn.
ago, I wasn't alive yet, right? But 40 years ago, I guarantee you it was a lot worse because when I was born, I know what it was like, and it wasn't even accepted that much then, you know?
Exactly,
yeah. I hear that. I hear
exactly.
that.
So there's a
I
lot
hear
more
that.
accepted now. Like, okay, Therese, the grandparents probably don't accept it yet, but the parents
Hmm.
accept it for the
Okay.
children to do what they want to
Yeah,
do.
what you're
Hey,
saying.
can I ask a question, bro? Can I ask a question? You said you went to private school and the majority is white, yeah?
Yeah.
Where do most of those white people come from? Because Bermuda's Caribbean, right? I know it's a British colony, but are they then British expats?
It is
The
Hold
a
on,
majority
hold
of
on.
them?
Turn off your camera again for young Pappy. Turn off your camera again. Turn off your camera just real quick, yeah? I'm gonna make it full screen. Yeah? Bro, look at the flag, fam.
Yeah, I know it's a
That's
British
all,
colony.
that,
I know that.
that's where all the white people came from. I'm sorry.
No, but I'm asking. I'm directly asking him because
like, yes, we have British people here, obviously, but a lot of, like, again, he asked about my private school. So with that, there was a lot of people that represented Azores, which is a island in Portugal. Right.
Oh, okay.
I find that
And that
interesting.
majority white, yeah?
It's a lot of Portuguese people here, to be fair.
Do you know what though, bro? Until I was 7 years old, so you can turn your camera back on now, you know, young puppy. Sorry. Till I was 7 years old, I grew up in Jamaica, right? And there was a population of white people that came to my school as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
If
I
you
was
think,
like,
actually, we like, it's a lot of resemblance with how it is done in Yard and, well, Jamaica and
yeah.
Bermuda, so yeah.
But the
It
reason
was
I asked that question, yeah, the reason I asked that question is because obviously, in the most respectful, polite way possible, you have a colony of white people, by the sounds of it, in a not necessarily white nation, and like I know how that comes about. Typically, if you go back far enough, you're looking at like naval and army bases where the people that were on those bases once disbanded have settled or decided to stay over there or even go back there. So I was just wondering, was it like a result of that, in terms of a direct result of being a British colony, i.e., British people have kind of decided to migrate over there, or what you've just obviously highlighted, which is way more interesting. Like, it's a different nationality, like, because that's a bit more of a reach. Like, if you ask
I
me,
mean,
it make, huh?
it goes back to slavery days, doesn't it?
Well, it must do, innit? Because it's not
No,
like
100% it was.
the British Empire is more, well, it's actually older than slavery, I guess. But the point I'm making is, like, slavery as we know it, like slavery, the times when it was abolished. Yeah, it's just weird to me that you find Portuguese over there. That's just, it's just odd to me.
No, not to be fair, but look, that's you know what, that's neither here nor there, to be fair, because you know what, if you look across like the Caribbean countries, right, you'll
Yeah,
find a mix of like either Spanish, because the colonies were ruled by French, English, and Spanish.
Spanish.
Right?
Yeah,
You'll find a mixture of all these races in these countries. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah,
that
and these
makes sense.
languages in this small little bit of islands, because everybody wanted a piece of the Caribbean. Do you get what I
And this
mean?
is the thing.
Yeah,
It,
yeah, yeah.
you know, the countries weren't colonized by just one nation, innit? Like everyone had their turn, man.
Everybody wanted the island. Say that's mine. That's mine. No,
Mm.
that's my island. Everybody wanted one. Yeah.
if I remember a
Same
little
with
bit of
slaves,
my
right?
history, it's actually weird, but ships and stuff. Like, my island has to deal with a lot of like shipwrecks and stuff. Like, a lot of ships try to come here, couldn't make it, blah blah blah. It was one ship that, how can I put it? We have forts, like where
Yeah.
cannons and you shoot
Of course.
cannons
Yeah,
out
yeah.
of and stuff.
Got
Yeah.
some forts in Jamaica
So
too.
basically, whoever was here at the time, um, it was something to do with like the gunpowder for the cannon bomb thingy going off. They had spilt it or something. If they hadn't spilt it, I might be speaking German right now. That's what they say. Like
Mad.
Oh, so what
So
happened when they
it's a
spilled it
lot.
then?
It's a lot.
What's the story? What's the story? Tell us the story. Do you know the
I
story?
honestly, I can't remember
You
that. I
can't
can't remember.
remember.
Bro, they went
What?
missing in
That's
the
back in
Bermuda
Story.
Triangle, fam.
I will
That's
get
what
it for
happened.
you next time. I'll let you know. I'll fill you in on the history.
Bermuda
Yo,
Triangle
bots,
got them, bro.
bots and sticks. Welcome to the show, guys. How you doing?
Big up, guys. I'm just listening at how all these mixtures, all these cultures have come together and made some of the best women and the best looking.
This guy just check out what kind of women we made. Listen to this guy.
Bro,
You
Hey,
speaking
Sticks.
factual, though.
I'm all about concoctions and mixtures. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God, yeah, this guy's
What's wrong
drunk
with this
already.
boy?
So he likes
What's
yelling.
wrong with this boy, bro?
He's getting ready for happy hour. That's what's going on.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
not happy hour yet, fam.
Yo, Sticks.
Yo, what's going on, man?
Bro, what you saying, brother? Talk to me. Listen, let me ask you this. Listening to this conversation, yeah. What did you want to have? What was your opinion on what we've been saying so far? Is what I should ask
You
you.
know, I can't lie, I missed the first 10, 12 minutes of it, so I'll just jumping in because I'm hearing this like basically black and white talking it. So it's
And where do you come from?
my family's my dad's Jamaican, my mom's side is like Montserrat and Nevis in it. So you
Okay,
get
what
me?
would you
Well,
class yourself as? Mixed race, black, white,
no,
this,
I'm
that,
black, man. Black is black.
black, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever had a relationship with a different race?
Uh, no.
What kind of answer is that?
But no, but basically my
It's
wife,
like,
yeah.
what's the
No, hold on,
relationship?
It was like,
no, listen. 'Cause my wife, yeah, she's Jamaican born, yeah, but her heritage is like from Indian, so she's a coolie basically, innit? So
so
you know what I
yes.
mean? So yes and
So,
no.
so
So
yes.
she's Jamaican born. She's
Hey, listen.
Jamaican, but she's not.
My first girlfriend was Jamaican born too, right? She was coolie as well, right? But if you look at her and look at me, you think that she's Indian and I'm a black man, clearly, right?
Yeah. So
So,
so there you go. Yeah.
so we were both born in Jamaica, yeah.
Hold on.
But you look at her, you say she's an Indian woman. You say she's Indian, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You know, just if you didn't know if before, and the funny thing is, she opens her mouth and I open my mouth. You go, oh, that's an English boy. She opens her mouth. You go, oh, that's a Jamaican woman. Yeah, because
No,
she's still
the amount
hard
of
accent.
the amount of like actual those who are Indian actually come up to my wife sometimes and try to speak to the cheese to her in their language. It's a bit, you know, that's how much of an Indian she looks like, but she obviously she's not. You get me? But
Yeah, but you class her as black because she grew up in Jamaica, but technically you can already see
she's not.
the mix straight away. Not that she's
Yeah, because
not.
our grandparents are
You
Indian,
probably
so
more Jamaican than you, fam. This is what you got to realize. The West Indies mean exactly that. West Indies. We were brought there. They were already there, fam. If you look at the
mhm.
Jamaica, have you ever seen the Jamaican crest? Have you ever
Yeah.
seen it? It's two Aborigine looking people holding on the crest. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They
Mm.
don't look black. They don't look black like me. They look like black Indian, maybe like you know what I mean, Aborigine. That kind of look. Maybe even more American Indian. That kind of look. Yeah.
But
So
you see that though,
More
yeah. Even
native.
that, you see how much people, you see how hated black people are in a way that we, everyone's gone to this. Everyone goes to Jamaica or Caribbean countries or to Africa, and then they take piece and piece and piece and piece from different pieces of the country, and then bring it here, and then but we're still hated. I remember when I first saw a Caucasian lady with braids. That was back in the day. That's not normal.
it
That
is
to me
now. It is
I
now.
only grew up around black people. If we're gonna be real, yeah. I only grew
Yeah.
up around black people. I went to my high school was mainly populated with um Asians, so Indians, Sri Lankans,
Lucky.
then there was the blacks, you get me, and then there was like a small minority of white people. So I was always around colored people. You get me? It's only when you get older, you branch out a bit, and then you kind of get it, you know, you blend in with other people. But more people want to blend in with you. Everyone's trying to hop up on the how many times, yeah, you see someone that's not from Jamaica, that's not from Jamaica, and they say to you, "Oh, where you from?" And the first thing you mention to them is Jamaica because that's probably where you're from. But also, they know of Jamaica. And what's the first thing they say to you? Bob Marley, reggae.
Well, it depends. Depends on how stupid they are.
No, it happens to me all the
It
time.
depends on how stupid they are. No, no, no,
No, it
not
happens
Where
to
do
me
you
all the
live, bro?
time.
Where do you
not
live?
all
Where
the
do you
time.
live?
I'm West
Yeah.
London, bro.
You live in West London, and that's
Yeah,
happening. That's
bro.
crazy, fam.
Bro,
Exactly.
can I give you an example? I'll give you an example, yeah.
Go on.
It, my job, I'm a coach driver, innit?
Yeah.
So I pick up obviously people from airports and London and stuff. I do all various kind of things.
You deal with a
The
lot
other
of
day,
older people.
huh?
I'm guessing you deal with a lot of older people as
Not
well.
necessarily. It's a mixed. It's
Okay.
old, young, kids. You know what I mean? It varies. It varies from day to day, innit? But this
Okay, you see,
particular
instead of the
group,
Bob Marley thing, don't you hear rice and peas and chicken more when you say I'm
no,
Jamaican rather than
no,
Bob Marley? I hear,
no.
oh, rice and
I
peas and
hear Bob
chicken.
Marley
I love
more.
that. I hear rice and peas. That's what I
No,
hear. Yeah,
I
go
hear
on.
Bob Marley. I hear Bob Marley more for real.
It's better than the
Because
triangle.
it's coming from those that coming from like European countries, like
Yeah,
Hungary,
yeah, 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 yeah. But that's
you
why
know, the
though.
Italians. And
Yeah, but
I'm
bro,
basing it off my own experience though, innit?
if
I
you
can't speak
ask,
for everyone
if
else.
all right, if I turn around and do the same thing to you, if I say to you Ukraine, what do you say?
Say again?
If I turn around and do the
You said
same thing to you and say I was from Ukraine, which I'm not, but just hypothetically, if I was to say to you I'm from Ukraine, what do you associate Ukraine with?
No, I'll say, yeah, I know now you could say something, but I wouldn't mention that. I was like, how's life there? Because I can't be ignorant and say I know anything that's going on with Ukraine apart from what's currently happening.
oh, that's
No,
Do you
but
know what
what
I
I'm
mean?
trying to get you to see, yeah, is
you don't
sometimes.
know nothing about that place.
I don't know nothing about it, so I can't be that
No, no,
ignorant.
no. Let him finish. No, let Coley finish the point. Sorry, because go on. I
Yeah,
don't
go
want
on.
What I
Sorry.
was gonna say is some people are just crap at making conversation, bro. That's really what it comes down to. Never mind just the language barrier as well, because you're talking to me about people from Hungary as well, which obviously they're talking to you in a second language. But there's the other part of it where some people are just shit at making conversation, fam. So like you say a word, and they play like a dead word association game with you. You say apple, they'll say banana. Like,
Mm.
do you understand? Like it's just dead. It's just dead conversation, fam. And then on top of it,
Automatic response sometimes.
yeah, on
Yeah.
top of it, I'm just as guilty though. Cause all right, here what? Yeah, I went to some gala dinner with my missus for her work. Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago, and it's a corporate company. Yeah, so they're talking about they're doing this big auction for raising money for Ukrainian thing, and there's this woman there who's from Ukraine. She's moved over and she's like up the front telling her story to kind of like encourage people to bid more and more. Get me? But she was actually sitting on our table, and she was a mad down to earth woman. She ended up like chatting to our missus all night, like getting to know her, and they made friends or whatever. But when she asked me this inevitable question, yeah, of like, we appreciate no one in your country really knew much about Ukraine beforehand. Bro, I did the same thing. The only thing I've got to say about Ukraine is the Klitschko's. That's it.
That's rude.
No, but that's it. That's all I know of that culture in that world. That's all I know. That's the only thing that's put it on the map for me. And I no, on my radar. Let me be more gracious about the way I'm saying that, innit? The only thing that's ever put it on my radar is via the things that I engage with. Like the sports I watch, boxing. Get me? Like,
And they must think you sound ignorant to
Shevchenko
them
is the
too.
only
yeah,
big.
I must sound like that same dickhead, but at the same time, I've got nothing else to say, big man. I don't know what your national food is. I don't know what your music is like.
But
I don't
no,
even
why do
know.
we speak like that though? Here's the thing: why do we do word association when we speak to someone from a different country though? Do you know what I mean?
Because,
It's
like I
because
said
it's
to you,
it's the easiest thing to, like, for example, the reggae or the rice and peas, like you said, yeah. That's because those particular things are very popular, right? Jamaicans are known for jerk chicken, spicy food, or reggae music. That's the first thing they'll go to associate themselves with you, to make you the conversation a bit more
Trying to find
comfortable,
something
maybe.
to.
Yeah,
You know what?
in the
When
corporate
you
world,
meet people,
they
you try to
try
find
and almost
something
try
to
to
connect
relate
with.
with you.
Yeah,
bro,
connect.
it's
Yeah,
called an
that's it.
icebreaker.
Connect.
Bro,
It's
that
called
is
an
exactly
icebreaker,
it.
fam.
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah,
That's the word.
It's
Yeah.
called an icebreaker, bro.
and that then decides how they deal with you after that. Do you
No,
understand?
but then it also decides how you deal with them after that.
Of course, it's when that first interaction decides a lot of things. Do you know what I
First
mean?
impressions, isn't it?
It's
Like,
what they say, yeah, first impressions always count. Yeah. If you take hold on, do you know what as well? Guys, please welcome Dr. NHS to the show because I've been waiting for a woman to turn up and she turned up. Dr. NHS.
Hello.
good evening, doctor.
Yeah. How are
How you
y'all?
doing?
How's everyone?
Good.
Good
I'm
evening.
all right. I'm gonna be quick because I need to be in and out. So
Ah,
let's get back to the original topic.
Yeah, I want to ask
Chocolate
you.
mocha.
Yeah. Yes. Have you ever
I'm
been
black.
called any of these terms?
No. What I have been called is okay, FYI, I'm black, I'm from Ghana. Hello. How are you?
Everybody when you
What I have
before you start offending anybody, yeah.
hello, hi.
yeah. Being called like the chocolate queen and that it depends on the intonation. Me personally, I don't like it when like I'm talking to someone and someone is like, "Oh yeah, it's chocolate queen," and do the snap and that, I don't like that.
But you see, hold on. If they called you a chocolate queen without including the derogatory
Yeah,
snap, because that's
yeah.
the thing that makes it offensive. Do you see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Yeah. Why
it's
is
the
No,
it?
but
intonation.
hold on. This goes for a lot of stuff, bro. Like, all right, sorry to go there, yeah, but look at some of the things you don't like getting called and said to when you're in the bedroom, and take it into a different context. Someone
Yeah,
says that to you.
saying it, but you see the actions that are delivered with it. But you see, just like what she said at the
Yeah,
beginning,
It's the context. It's the
context.
context and how it's delivered.
So because
exactly.
you're gonna deliver, if you're gonna say chocolate queen, don't do the next step and the little head swivel. What are you doing that for? It means that you're trying
But
to
then
say,
Yeah,
this is dangerous territory now. This is dangerous territory because now there isn't actually a set precedent for whether or not this phrase is acceptable or not. It's based on how you feel about the person that's saying it, and that person doesn't know how you
that's true.
feel about them until you've said it. So
that.
this touches on other situations. Remember we was talking about the Philly thing, and we were saying like, raw for these kids out here nowadays, what is the right way for them to engage with the opposite sex without causing offense or harm? Because it's based on how the female perceives you. If she thinks you're ugly, you saying "What's up, darling" is intrusive and offensive. But if she thinks you're good looking, it's the smoothest thing she's heard all day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so
By the way, guys, I just want to say, if you're still watching live, and if you're new, make sure you subscribe. Also, guys in the background, yeah, I'm going to keep picking up the team. So if you're in the background, please don't leave. I just gotta rotate this a little bit.
Yeah. I actually
Yeah.
gotta go start a show. But
Oh yeah. All right. Hey, say your opinion before you go quickly, though, boss.
Yeah. So
I mean, I talk much.
I think context is everything, honestly. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we find that like some people, they can take like, especially like there are some women that would be like, oh, you can call me this, but they have to give you permission. You have to. That the very, very important thing is permission, and context is everything. If you say it in a complimentary way, I don't think anybody really. And they have some sort of relationship with you, I don't think anybody would be rushing to sort of like be offended, But at
You
the
say
end,
that, but Joe's like that. You can't drop an N bomb on Joe no matter how good you know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but N bombs and stuff are different, I think, to these terms, isn't it? That's why I'm specifically talking about these terms, because see, like, if put it this way, like the old times when the building site guys, because it don't really happen as much these days. But remember, like building site guys, used to be known for it. Used to be known for saying stuff to women as now.
And Joe, it's not about the terms; it's about the culture. It's catcalling. That's what it is, right?
Catcalling. Okay, so yeah, imagine not even catcalling though, because sometimes a man might even just see a woman. It might even be a conversation. They might have met someone just now, and they go, "Oh,
yeah,
ain't you a nice cup of chocolate?" Yeah, I will tell you this story. Yeah, I was at work. I was at work one time. Yeah,
don't do that to no one.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the story. Yeah, all right, Dr. NHS. Yeah, listen to this. Yeah, I was at work. Yeah, and for the longest I've done recruitment. Yeah. Now, I had this nurse that came over from New Zealand, and she came into my office, right? And I was the person who was registering her, right? Now, I brought her upstairs, was putting out all the paperwork and stuff, and she's like, I was like, do you want a cup of coffee, anything like that, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yes, can I have a cup of coffee, please? She was like, asked me, how do you want it? She was like, well, I like my coffee how I like my man.
Oh, damn.
Tall and black. I was like, I'm gonna get you short white Ian downstairs to come and finish this paperwork, and I'll be back. Yeah, all right.
You obviously got to have coffee there.
But short white Ian brought up her coffee in it. I was like, yeah, you can deal with that one, bro.
Why would you do that at work, though? Why would you do that at work?
Some people like the risk, man.
This is the thing. I wasn't that offended, but if some man said that to you, doctor, would you be offended? Because you know what, I think men take things differently to women, obviously. Yeah. So if you was in the workplace and someone said, "Oh, I like it. I like my women," some short white guy said to you, "I like my women tall and black," or my coffee tall and black. I like my women.
His face was Ruben Amorim.
That would be a fault to HR, number one.
Yeah, Ruben Amorim said it to you, though.
I don't care who it looks like. I don't care who it looks like. I don't care.
She is lying.
No, let's be real. Women, all women in this chat right now, yeah. If you find a man attractive and he says it to you, yeah, not offensively, gives you a little wink, or I like my.
Even now, doctor's grinning teeth. You can hear grinning teeth.
She's laughing. She knows if it's Ruben. Big, good-looking Ruben Amorim, yeah, comes up in his pride and goes, "I like chocolate,
Anyway, Joe, let me go quick because I've got 5 minutes and I'm going.
Yeah, of course, please, yes, please.
Because so yesterday in the comments of the video, I said big up bots.
I was saying bye to bots, yeah, bye bots.
Big up bots. I said in the comments that I don't like the term snow bunny, and I think it becomes because in some way it's been weaponized by. So for context, I'm black, my wife is white, and in some ways it's been weaponized by a lot of like the militant black people.
Like Dr. Umar. People like Dr. Umar.
And it's like a stick to beat me with, basically, that I'm married. Like I'm less of a black man because my wife is white. Like
no. This is something else. You see, the snow bunny term is what we're talking about, yeah?
No, but I'm saying that's linked in my mind. Those two are linked because he's kind of made that word synonymous, if that makes sense. if
Yeah,
you hear the
but hey,
words,
I've been through it, you know. Listen, I have a black baby mother, got a white girlfriend. Yeah, things like that. This kind of stuff is already brought up to me. Yeah. So you see that
so
what you're saying there about making you feel like a less of a black man because you're with a white person. Oh, brother. Sometimes have you not got looks walking down the street?
the thing, bro, it's mad because it's like you can't, and people don't realize, yeah. So people kind of think sometimes it's all good and we're on the same team, but bro, you know, some places I don't even try it. You know, the head nod of like, well, go on. I don't do that anymore. You know that. That's been like trained out of me because some people like the look of disgust of certain people when they've seen me and my wife together and our kids. Like, I'm like, you know, I ain't even doing that anymore. I'll let you do the head nod first for me to then go wagwan.
Yeah.
And the thing, like, so, and my issue with the word, like, it's because I don't think it, because I think someone was saying it was racist. It's not racist term. It's a way to describe a white woman. I think my issue is the link to a Dr. Umar who says, kind of, who it's like I said in the comments, it makes me out to be a COON. I don't want to say it just in case of whatever, but like that's the connotations that comes along with that word of dating or being married to someone who is white. And I think it becomes like I said, a stick to beat a black person with who is dating someone who isn't
Of the same
isn't
race.
yeah.
Good.
Here's a
Can I ask?
question. Do you feel so? Sorry, just a question came up from the comments in it, and I just want to know: do sometimes you feel it's your ego being bruised sometimes when you see another black person? Let's just be
Probably,
honest.
like, I'll be real, yeah, but
It's true. Let's just be
it
real.
probably is my ego,
Because
but
I will
it's
say that it's
been
my ego too
conditioned by the
sometimes.
way that black people have treated me. If that, so
Mm.
it's true. So it is probably it is an ego issue, but that ego or that bruising of the ego has come from when people have given me looks, and I've seen, like, you know, when someone looks at you disgusted, and it's obvious why they're disgusted at you, and you're like,
Do
because
you
you can
find it
break it.
for mainly men or for mainly women?
I'd say it's more women than men, but there are men, like, it's not kind of just, I'm not going to say it's only black women who do it, but it's definitely more women than men that do that. But the thing, because then I break it down to, yeah, and I know this is kind of going a bit tangent, but then would you, as in, so I'm married to my wife, I've got 2 kids. Would it be better for me to be a bad dad to these kids and a bad husband to my wife because she's white? Or, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you want from me? Do you want me to kind of like abandon my family because they're white? Like, what do you want me from?
No.
That would be a
Let me
stick.
ask you a question, Guz. Let me ask you a
Go
question.
on, Cole.
Yeah,
Go on, Coley.
Go on. You've been waiting.
What's it? Have you spoken to your wife about it? How does she feel about someone referring to, like, hypothetically, someone referring to her as a snow bunny?
Well,
She's
have
not
you
in
ever
this.
reflected on something like that?
Nah, never. She's not in this. Like, she wouldn't. If I said the term snow bunny to her, like, she's kind of
It'll go
middle
over her.
class English.
Yeah,
The word
yeah,
snow
go
bunny
over her.
probably means nothing to her. If I
Fair
said
enough.
snow bunny, she probably has heard it. But if I said, do you know what this means? It probably just goes over her head, if that makes sense.
Okay, but
Like,
all right, let me slightly tweak it then. Let me slightly
yeah,
tweak
go
it
on.
because I went to school in a place called Watford, yeah, and there was a lot of
Yeah, I
that
know
in that
Watford.
area.
Yeah, that's not too far
Yeah.
from me.
All right, cool. So there's still that, even if there isn't a term, there is still a vibe of, oh, you like black boys. Yeah, let's put it that way instead.
Yeah.
What's her mindset whenever she's come up against that?
So for context, I'm the only person she's ever dated. So
Yeah.
for context, it's like, it's different in that sense. So
Okay.
we met at church when she was 20. So it's a bit different in a sense of she didn't kind of have that growing up, oh, you fancy black boys thing, this, that, and the
Okay.
other.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Nice.
she kind of
Bro.
grew up in a more of a white world anyway. So it was like,
Of
that
course, it's
wasn't
got
a
some
thing.
fairy tale relationship, you know. You're into a good
Nah,
thing.
it's not. Nah. But it's like,
Can I
it's
say something?
gone,
Because
Mrs.
I need to
NHS.
also, like, I need to move.
Well, you said you need to go in it. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So me personally, I don't have a problem like seeing why, like, date who you date. I don't really care. As long as the lady or the guy doesn't see you as like a fetish, that's where
Yeah. Draw the line.
it irritates
Yeah.
me. And I somehow I can sniff it out. We know. And that's one.
But do you think you know though? That's the thing though, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah. Why would you be?
no.
How would you know?
I've had guys flirt with me and like be like, "Oh yeah, I've never dated a black girl before," and they're like, "I just want to try it once." Like they make statements.
People say that to you.
You know,
People say that to
it's
you.
key words
People say
and
that to you.
statements. Yeah.
Hold on. Has a man actually said those words to your face?
Yes.
Or over a message or whatever?
Men need to do better, I swear, man. I think, like, I know that there's a thing, but sometimes men need to do better, innit?
Well, hold on. For what reason? Because someone said that he doesn't date black girls.
No. To say
That's not what she said. That's not what she said.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
No, I'm saying to go up to Coley. I'm saying to go up to a woman and say, I've never done this before. I'm just trying to like.
Black woman once. That's what.
That's a bit mad.
Said to her face, bro. That's what the man said to her face. Like, that's mad. Imagine going up to. I would never go up to a white woman and go, "Oh yeah, I've never been with a white woman before. I'd love to try it once." Like,
no.
Yeah, but like, listen, yeah, that's quite an innocent thought to have to yourself, because that might be the start of someone. That might be the no. But hold on, let me land. That might be the start of someone assimilating themselves into a culture and the whole 9 yards, innit? That person might actually find something they like and keep running with that. But it's kind of the same as what we were saying with the Ruben Amarin thing. You got to read the room, bro. Like, you can't be coming out here saying, "Yo, let me just see if the dark meat is sweet." Like, you know, like that.
The Manticutioner asked the question.
Go, guys.
He said what?
By Doctor. The Manticutioner asked a question in the chat. I just saw it. It's black people who look at me in disgust, not white people. I've actually had. It's weird, yeah. I'll be real. In our relationship, we've had more like racism as a couple from black people than white people.
Yeah, but that's because racism is more acceptable coming from black people. Let's be honest.
No, I'm not saying, and that doesn't mean that.
It's mad though, because you know what? I'm gonna tell you this story right now. So when I was with a white woman, yeah, she worked in a pub as well. Walking into the pub, you feel the eyes on you straight.
Walking into a pub is horrible.
Of course.
You feel, and then you walk up to her, and she works here. You know, all the brothers that been flirting with her before, all of that stuff. Everybody hates you straight
Barry,
away.
Steve,
so I felt the heat from both sides of the crowd, black and white. Do you understand what I mean?
And that, and that's my issue, and that's my problem with the phrase is that it's a phrase in which it just shows the difference, if that makes sense. As in, like, I don't care that, like, I'm not with my wife solely because she is white.
You're not with her at all because
and it wasn't even a deciding factor.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's not a deciding factor in our relationship. But then that sometimes is made to be that phrase can sometimes push the fact that she's white above everything else that's happened. So
you know, the funny thing is, I don't think, you see, the people that are actually in mixed race relationships, I don't actually think they use these kind of terms. Yeah, unless there is some sort of fetish there around it, if you get what I'm saying. There's people, you know what, maybe having this conversation might have opened my eyes a little bit in the way people do use this term, because when you think about it, when I've been with a white woman, I've never actually go, "Oh, my snow bunny," or "my this," or "my white this," although I have been called chocolate before. So I don't know. Yeah, so
do you know what it is? Yeah, do you know what it is? Yeah, a lot of people haven't. They're not open-minded. They're so used to their upbringings of their culture, their cultural upbringings. So what they're used to seeing, that's what they like. Both my parents, obviously black. They're expecting me. I would just. They haven't said out loud, but they're expecting me to be with a black woman.
Are both are both your parents from the same country as well?
No.
Because even
Sorry, just to ask quickly.
No, he's already
Where they
said
from?
earlier. He already said.
Yeah,
Oh,
my dad's
sorry.
Jamaican. Although my mom's born here, her parents are from Nevis and Montserrat. Remember, I told you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because even
Yeah.
sorry to cut you, but even that's a problem in itself sometimes. So like my uncle, this was years ago though, but my uncle married from Jamaica. My uncle's Jamaican, married someone from Montserrat, and it was like, what are you doing with that person from a small island from? Like, so even within those things, you've got the kind of division, but you're like,
Bro, I see that.
I
I wouldn't
definitely,
even expect that.
yeah,
Yeah, but you
I
probably didn't
think
go
that
through.
kind
You
of,
didn't go through it.
yeah, I think that's kind of gone now. But I defo know from like I know some of my aunts kind of weren't necessarily happy with the woman I've married. It's okay now, but you can sense slight hostility. Like
But courts,
Can I say something? Yeah.
have
Like
they?
when
Sorry, bro. I was just
go
gonna
on, go
ask
on,
courts
go on, go
with
on.
your aunties and that though. Like initially they were apprehensive because people. It's human nature to fear the unknown, innit?
yeah.
But now that you've been together, you got 2 kids and that. Like, do they look at her differently now?
Oh, it's fine, bro. The first time
Yeah.
she ate jerk chicken and they realized that she wasn't just gonna be like, I want like like it was like it's calm. But like so I understand the apprehension, but as soon as like they saw that she was embracing the culture, like, and obviously because there's obviously massive cultural differences between the way I was brought up and the way she was, but as soon as they saw a bit of embracing of the culture, it was fine. And I get the
I think
apprehension.
that's what's important. I
It's
think
called
that's
manners
what's
and
important. You
respect.
know.
Always manners
No,
and
you know,
respect.
I think that's what's really important, though. You know, because I'll be honest with you. Yeah, my cousin has children with a white woman. Yeah, and they don't like her at all. Yeah, but she keeps herself so separate from us. It's ridiculous. Yeah, she hasn't. She's got mixed race kids. She doesn't know how to do their hair. Every time they come up here, she's got to get their hair done, kind of thing, in it. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. She's disconnected from our culture completely, and that's when our family looks at my family have looked at my cousin and said, "You chose wrong." And I understand from that perspective, not because she's white, because you know what? Yeah, the girl that I was with, they loved her. They loved her. Yeah, but she was completely different to that one. Yeah,
It depends.
she was
Like,
But do you
completely
know why?
different.
Do you know why the disappointment is there in all of these people? Because you lot speak of my life. I'm a product of half. I'm half white, half black. Like you don't speak of my life. I see the disappointment in some of my auntie's eyes when they're staring at my mum. You know them ways there. Like this one here can't cook. She can't
do you
do
know
no
how mad?
hair. Like what?
Like, oh wait, sorry. I just got a story. Yeah, so one of my aunties is like proper, like militant. Like, and her son had a child with a mixed race lady.
Yeah.
And so he's therefore my younger cousin's kids is like his grandma's white, innit?
Yeah.
And basically there was and now she doesn't say this anymore, but there was a time where she was just talking about how all white people are evil. While her grandchild is there, who has a white grandma. And I was like,
wild.
But I think that's kind of moved on from that, because I think we've had conversations and we've kind of moved on from there. But there was that thing, and I kind of like when they came to England or grew up in England, it was a different England to the England we grew up in now. So even though there's racism now, we don't face racism like they faced racism. So what happened to them and how they were treated by white people still sticks with them.
And that's the key thing, Courts. That's what we have to contextualize.
So I understand some of her views towards white people because she was called a monkey on a bus on the way to school, because things were thrown at her. Like, if that makes sense. It's not as in the racism we face occasionally.
They used to put feces through letterboxes, bro. They used to spit on
it was a
people as
different
they're walking
time. It
down
was
the
a
street.
different time, bro.
It was a different time, but those people are still about, and they're descendants of the people that we go lay down
But
with.
you know, if
that's
you
what
went
these
through
are
that
scared of.
though, I can understand the vim that they hold.
Yeah, I understand it. But you see the thing that from our side, yeah, like, because all right, cool. Let me split myself down the middle. Let me talk about both sides, the black and the white side. Yeah, from the black side, what doesn't help is you have this. It's not even an elitist mentality, but it's a kind of thing where it's like they don't expect people to want to assimilate to their culture, especially as a Nigerian. I can say this, isn't it? Like, they don't expect white people to want to come and assimilate into their culture. So to have a mixed race kid, i.e. someone like me, bro, if I can't speak Yoruba, if I can't cook a certain way, if I can't do certain things to show I understand my culture, they'll attribute that to having a mum that ain't from the culture and don't know the culture. So that's where the disappointment's really rooting from, is the fact that this one isn't going to end up being one of our own. As much as that they will claim the name, like they're not going to act and talk like us, and they take problem with that. And that mentality there, you can strip away whatever like skin color the person is. That is at the core of it. What happens on both sides? It's a disappointment in a lack of continuation of what they know.
And because you know what, like the older I get, do you know what I realize is often the issues that we face are more class related than necessarily always race related. So you take someone like was it Kwasi Kwarteng, the guy who was the chancellor for about 5 minutes.
Oh, that
he even though he is a black man, he isn't a black man like us, if that makes sense.
He's never seen a barber shop in his life, fam.
He's never seen a barber shop. But that's what I'm saying. So he's never been to the barber shop, had the band, like never, like even though he is a black man, because he grew up upper class in went to a certain school and therefore surrounded himself with certain people, that played a bigger thing to, and obviously they would have probably had a few black jokes and whatnot, but because of his upper class upbringing, he is way more similar to those people than he is to us, even though we share the same pigmentation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I get that.
So some of it is a class thing.
It's class based, yeah.
I was watching. I'll send it to the WhatsApp group chat later. Basically, my cousin sent it to me. Fred Hampton, who was murdered by the U.S. government, basically, who was a leader of the Black Panthers in Chicago. He created like a coalition of. There was a Hispanic group and some poor white people in the same thing, and we're like, well, this isn't just like a race oppression. This is a poverty oppression that we're facing. Right. And they actually realized we're actually more similar. Although you're Hispanic, you're white, I'm black. We share a lot of similarities. There is a massive class divide that we're all sitting under. So you can see that, and I think, yeah. So I don't know why I went there.
You're talking about a deeper understanding. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about a deeper understanding of your environment.
In England right now, I think the divide is mostly through class than through race.
Oh, it absolutely is.
100%.
Bro, this is why, hey, I saw something on the news today, that made me raise 2 eyebrows from. You see, Nigel Farage, Reform. Bro, they gained like 90 seats, 95 seats. Do you feel like you have to work extra hard to please? But absolutely, bro.
Sorry to butt in. Hi guys, can you hear me?
Well, yes, hey, Super Nick, how you doing? At last, hey, everybody, big up Super Nick, a legend.
Big up.
Hey, big up, Super Nick.
Big up. I got 2 minutes and then I need to bounce because my bed is calling me.
Do you want to finish what you're saying real quick? Then?
No. I want to listen. Go on, Super Nick.
No, I don't want to take up your time, but I've just been listening to so much of what you guys have to say, and what I pick up, especially from black people, is the pain. I feel that you may fall in love with somebody who's not of the same race, but that weight of our history is always on your back. So if you're walking down the street and you're, say, with your white partner, that weight is there because the person that's black in front of you, you don't know how they're going to take your situation. You understand me? And it's the weight of history. We might think, our people don't like us, or we might think that the other people don't like us. It's not that. It's the weight of history and the pain. And people might not want to see it that way, but if you really sit back, allow your ego for a minute and realize it's almost like you're fighting yourself in your relationship if you're not careful.
You know what the frustrating thing is, though, Nick?
Well said.
When you're in that situation, like, I'm not gonna speak for you, coach, but tell me if you resonate with it. Like, it's frustrating when you're trying to not be that way. You're trying to live in the way that they say the world is nowadays and be the example of when it goes right. Because look at Courts, he's doing it right and it's going right. And
Yeah.
if you
As
look
in,
at him from afar, get out of his car with his kids and his white wife. The frustrating thing for the black youth in that situation is it doesn't matter what side it's coming up from. Like, why can't you just see that this works instead of
yeah, and
whatever the fuck you
I
think?
yeah, and I fully hear what you're saying about the pain into because when when the whole George Floyd thing happened, it's like me and my wife were having a discussion, and then she understood. She's like it. She understood that sometimes the fact that I am married to a white person brings challenges in the kind of what that means as a black man.
In your society, yeah.
Yeah, as in, and I fully get like for everyone's experience of how they've been treated by white people, makes them act in a particular way, and I think I fully get that. To go back to the kind of title of the video, that is where the word snow bunny irritates me because it kind of pushes me into a box, if that makes sense, and I don't want to be in a box
But
of
you see, this
right.
is the thing. Do you know what? Every time you've spoken about it, though, yeah, of course, I'm saying this to you right now. Yeah, the funny thing is, I never expected you to say it. It makes me feel. Yeah, do you know that? I never
Yeah,
expect you to say it makes me feel. I expect you to say it makes my wife feels or whatever. Do you know that?
No, I
Every time
completely
you open your
understand that,
mouth,
bro.
I understand it now because he's explained it
yeah.
to me. But I'm just saying, I never
Yeah, yeah.
expected him to say out of his mouth that
Yeah, and like when
makes
people say it in
me
the
feel.
chat, like when people are talking about Rashford's got snow, it's like I don't kind of go, oh, like what is like I'm not one of those guys in the chat who's gonna go mad. You shouldn't be saying that. Duh, duh, duh. That's
Yeah,
never.
yeah, yeah.
That's not me. There's sometimes though, like it's a trigger from when people like will share. Like bear in mind, yeah, I'm not the only person who's got a white spouse in my whole. I've got one of these stupid family WhatsApp group chats, but it's international. There's way too many people on there. Why have my WhatsApp group chat 150 people? Too mad. But it's like bare unnecessary videos. But people, I'm not the only one who's got a white spouse in that group. But family members will share Dr. Umar videos of. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, and I don't know these. These grew up in like they're in Jamaica. I've met them a few times, but I don't know them like that. But that kind of makes me feel away, obviously. So I think there is that kind of when I hear the kind of snow bunny term, it is kind of like a trigger to me, and that doesn't
Do
mean
you
it's offensive or doesn't mean
you
that people
share these
shouldn't say
things?
it.
You see, when you
Not
see these
bro.
videos and stuff, do you share these things with your wife?
Reluctantly, bro. I'm a black man. I struggle to share how I'm feeling most of the time. I'll be real.
No,
Like,
not your feelings. I'm saying the videos because this is what I'm saying to you.
oh
Like,
no, I ain't sharing
like
that. Well, why am I gonna share? I mentioned it a couple
Yeah, that's the
times,
thing,
but
see, this is what
cause
I'm saying. This is what I feel like. There's a little bit. I honestly, course, I'm really glad we're having this conversation here
yeah,
because, and the fact what Nick said, yeah, I think it does like a bit on you a lot. Yeah, because when it comes down to it, right, I've had white girlfriends. I was really, really with a white girl that was gonna be the one almost, yeah. And then things happened or whatever, right? But when it comes to her, yeah, I know that that my family will say wild shit in front of her, bro. Yeah, wild shit. They will go, "That's why white people are like this," you know? Yeah, just whatever. They will say something like that, and she's there. She's literally over there doing someone's nails or something. Yeah, but they went, "Yeah, white people are like that, like this and that," and then they look at her and say, "Oh, I forgot you were here." But she will be like, "Yeah, I understand. Some people are like that." Do you understand what I mean? Yeah. I've always shared everything with her in terms of like,
Oh, and no,
letting her know how our people act.
she fully understands the other side of why certain black people, like why black people struggle with white people in terms of the
But
way that they've
guys,
been treated. It's
do you
like
think that?
I just feel awkward sometimes sharing it, if that makes sense.
No, but
Yeah, but
guys,
I think that's something to build up on.
don't you
But go
think
on,
that's
sorry.
relative to where the white partner might be from? Like, if it's somebody from off the estate now that's more exposed to other races, they might not be as uncomfortable. Because I remember in the time of George Floyd, a lot of people I used to watch on YouTube, I stopped watching them because the way they were talking, it was as if black people's outrage wasn't
Wasn't
warranted,
necessary.
or
Yeah,
it
yeah.
didn't make sense. The levels of discomfort I could see with white people, and then it became like a race competition. So
I had a
you've
lot of
got white
conversations
people
about it
that
at work, to
think
be
like
honest.
that. Yeah, they were doing
Nick,
the thing at work, right?
Nick,
So
that's
it's,
a beautiful working example of what Joe was talking about before. You're talking about people off the estate, like we're the lower class, like, and I say we because I am one, like, and I know exactly what you're talking about. You see me, I had a weird experience growing up where I was born in South London and I moved up to Watford, which is like a suburb middle class, when I was like going into secondary school, and like you see the white boys down on the estate in South, they moved like black boys.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Like there was
100%.
never well, not in my estate anyway. There was not like, and to be fair, like some of my best friends were travelers as well. They lived on my floor, so they're Irish travelers and they're white boys. But bro, they're saying "wagwan" to me in the morning. Like they're talking voices deep. Like trousers are hanging low. Like they're acting like man them. Yeah, but then you go out to them
And that's
places.
also begging it, by the way. Just saying. But
I
anyway,
don't know, bro. They're in the ends. They're in the ends, bro. They're in the
sometimes,
ends.
hey, sometimes there's no need for you to. This is the thing as well. Actually,
No,
no,
you
let you
know,
finish
can
before
I
I
say
chime
something?
No,
in.
Yeah.
but I'm not.
Let
I'm
me.
not.
Can I say something? Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. You know, I think what Cody's saying is right because depending on what era you're in or what you're raising, right, the people you're surrounded with, not necessarily what you surround yourself with, but you're surrounded with like your people you ain't got no choice to be around because you see them all the time that live in your area.
Of course.
It's just it's you either you distance yourself from them or you pick up things from them because you're around them all the time. Like I
Yeah, but
said
it's
earlier,
about
yeah,
the
my
majority here,
school.
though. Is to go
Pardon?
one step further. It's about the majority, bro. It's about what the majority is, because like what Nick
Right.
said, it's the estate. Yeah, on the estate, the majority of people are mandem. So to blend in and to be safe, whether you're black, white, or Asian, you're gonna act like the black boys because they're the majority in the estate. Yeah,
Yeah, because
but when you
no,
go
the
out to
wickedest thing
populated
is,
with black
right?
people, so it's understandable.
No, but
You
listen, do
know.
you know what the wickedest thing is? You know, earlier on, you were talking about classism and stuff like that, right? So,
yeah,
in a lot of estates, they were all experimental and it's all social engineering. So,
yeah,
who you ended up moving around or being around, it's no like fluke or nothing like that. And you see, they come up with a lot of these kind of like things on the news talking about, oh, say black boys are doing the worst in school and whatever, only to find decades later that those were all cooked up and that it's their own white people that they would class
Or
as
doing
being
worse.
lower down on the scale
Mm.
that are doing the worst. And you
Yeah,
see
I
how they
remember that.
even separate their own white people. That's how Brexit and all these things came up, yeah, because they tried to create a system where they try to fool people who they already see as being lower down on the scale as being above on the scale. So when you hear people say on the council estates or the typical what they would call the Brexit mob, then they all look like regular people. They all look like working class people. And they've been led to believe their life has gone a certain way because of immigrants, the same people they probably grew up around and against. But because they want to create division, this is what's happened. And the social engineering has cooked everybody's mind into such a state that the whole class thing it's like you see the levels of this whole snow bunny thing. It is so deep, and I put it in the chat earlier on because
Whose mic
it's
is that?
something
Whose
that's
mic is that?
hang on,
Who's
hang
moving
on,
up? Is that you?
yeah. Some I put something in the mic, sorry, in the chat earlier on, and it
Yeah,
was
go on.
about another term that's used in the other instance where a black woman is with a white man. They refer to her as a bed wench, which is a term that was
Wow.
used back in
I saw
slavery.
that. I saw
And
that.
and that for me is a very derogatory term, an
yeah. I've never even
extremely
heard that one. I've
I've
that
never
is
even
never
heard
heard
that.
that one.
But
that
if
is
you hear that kind of thing, the word wench alone, yeah,
Yeah, for real.
is offensive. Do you
I'm
know what I
from
mean?
the first phrase is bed. Like, no, come on, slow down, slow
You know
down,
what I mean?
slow
because
down.
You're
Yeah,
a
slow
because
bed
down.
wench.
evidently, even though you might be with the man, you might be married to the man, but guess what? back in the days as a black woman, your only commodity was to do what? Breed. You understand me? So,
breed stronger
Can I,
black,
can I,
breed
can I add,
stronger
yeah?
black, stronger black men.
Anyway, just
You
quickly,
know, can I add, yeah?
I just gotta
Wait,
go.
hold on. Of got to drop.
I just
Yeah,
gotta
go
go.
on.
I was gonna say, Joe, shout out to you and the rest of the panel. These are good conversations to be having. Obviously, we're learning together. Everyone's got their own kind of point of view, but this is a good space. So just keep them up, bros, and big up to everyone. Yeah, I'll be back in.
Slogan quotes. Remember the slogan quotes: share, learn, grow. Yeah,
big up.
Good.
Yeah. Well, what can I add to that? Yeah. You know, even just being as a black person in itself, right? Because let's just say, obviously, because of slavery, people will never let you forget that slavery happened to you. Doesn't matter even though you never experienced it yourself, we learn about it and everything and the things that happened to them at that time. Even now, they will never let you forget it. They'll show it on the TV, they'll show it on pictures, videos, everywhere you go. Right? If you go out of London, they're not used to seeing black people. You understand me? Because we live in London, it's easier for us to integrate with different cultures, different race, different religions, and all of that. Because London is almost like the place to be, innit? As soon as you branch out of London, right, and as a black man, as a black person, yeah, you get the eyes straight away. Even if you're by yourself, just being by yourself as a black person, you're getting looks, right? I remember a time, yeah, like a couple months ago, I was doing the job, yeah. I was in Bath, of all places, Bath, yeah. Broad daylight. If any of you have ever been to Bath, yeah, it's a nice little town. Yeah, it's busy. It's always busy, but it's predominantly Caucasian based. Yeah, right. So anybody that's of color, you notice them straight away, innit? Right. And one day, I was waiting for like my group to come back and that. I've gone to the shops and I'm walking back to the coach. Yeah, like I said, broad daylight. Yeah, the sun is shining, everything. As I'm walking back to the coach and that, I see old lady walking opposite, coming towards me. The first thing she did was she saw me and she grabbed her purse as if I was going to take it from her. Now, I had to laugh because I felt a bit offended. Not because I knew obviously why she did that, yeah, but come on, the me compared to her, if I wanted to, I would have taken a bag from her if I wanted to. Like your old lady, I'm a strong young man. It would have been no problem for me. But the fact that you in this day and age, you could see me and I was by myself, like I said, broad daylight. I was wearing my work clothes. You get me? I wasn't in like home clothes, casual clothes. Like a couple months ago.
Yeah,
my brother, can I just?
Yeah, go
sorry. So, no, you go, Joe, because
I was gonna ask, like, how old would you say the woman was? Like, roughly. I know you don't know, but roughly.
OAP.
OAP. Right. So listen, you got to understand one thing as well, yeah.
No, what I'm saying, why I said that is because she's not. I'm saying that to say she's not used. I'm assuming, in my opinion, that she's not used to seeing people of color. You get me, or black people. That's what I'm saying. People who don't live in London, who are not used to seeing black people or people of color, they will have these
a certain
ignorant views.
perception. They have
That's what I'm saying. They will have these ignorant views that as soon as they see a black person coming, right, let me hold on to my things because they might steal. Because obviously they see the news and people robbing and killing, but they automatically think every black person is going to be doing that. You get me? Even if
my
they're
brother, I have a problem with this. I'm not gonna lie, you know. And I can the only reason not to like, obviously, like I'm not discrediting your opinion or your perspective on what happened, but it's I just wish sometimes our people were a bit more open-minded about what you're actually experiencing there. Yeah, because whilst it makes us feel a certain way, bro, that was a 2-second interaction, and what you saw was her fight or flight reflexes as an OAP who was raised in a different time, who gets her information today probably from the likes of like BBC. And she lives in a place like Bath. Like, so,
No,
like,
no.
the point I'm making is, I understand, like, because I've experienced the same thing, and it makes me turn up my like, it pisses me off the same way. Like, I'm not even that type of person, but 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 it's I'm expecting a lot from the world. Yeah, if I don't think there's people out there that have limited experiences or limited perspectives, and they might be scared for a myriad of reasons, bro. A myriad of reasons. It might not
I
even
get
be
that.
black.
I get that. But you see, one thing you're not taking into account as well, yeah, Coley. Who just turned on their microphone and just let me hear the whole street that they're on? Who did that? Who microphone did that?
Who is it?
It was Antonio. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Unmute people. Right. Listen, just quickly, yeah. Actually, Antonio, you wanted a question for Chris. Antonio, ask the question quickly because you sound like you're on the street or something. Because I can hear your whole road.
Wait, is it better or does it sound bad?
You've got headphones, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can hear everything.
Oh, you can hear everything. Okay. Well,
But go
my
on. Let's
question for
go.
Chorus is like, I'm from the States. I'm from Nebraska. If you guys know what Nebraska, it's like the middle of the country. It's
White as
mostly,
hell.
yeah, it's mostly
Very
white.
white.
Yeah, it's very white.
Very
It's like
white.
80% white. So my whole life, I've always dated like white women because it's mostly like what's my
Oh, what's
surrounding
your
is.
race? What's your race, by the way?
I'm black. I'm from Togo. I moved from
Okay.
Togo to Nebraska when I was like maybe 8. So I've been in Nebraska my whole life. But like my whole surrounding, I was always in white. Even in the high school and at university, mostly white. Um, I heard Course earlier said that like he has most of the races that came from black people. Mine has been the opposite. Mine has been always like, for example, when I was like maybe 17-year-old, I dated a girl. Her family always told her like, "Why are you dating this guy? He's black. You're not supposed to be with him. You can be friends with him, but you're not supposed to be together. It's gonna mess up our race." And then she would come back and tell me these stuff. And most of like my experience has always been like, "Why are you dating him? There's more options out there." Even though like I feel like I'm qualified. I don't know how to say it. Like I'm qualified because I have like I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm not like a degenerate. You know what I mean? I'm not like out there doing drugs or.
You are not a degenerate. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what? You're well to do. Yeah,
yeah.
you're
Correct.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You've stayed on the straight and narrow. Yeah.
yeah.
Tony, you might
Like,
relate to this, but like sometimes, like of course, I grew up in Texas, very white area,
Very white.
and as Joe, you've met Jess, very white,
Very white.
and and the sometimes people do say like shit that's just way out of pocket, and then they realize what they said because they look at you and they say, "Oh, but you're not like them though," and you're like,
Oh, don't tell
"Oh,
me that
that's
shit.
that fucking
Oh,
shit."
in the
Oh,
pub in England. Oh, you want to fight people, but you
yeah.
can't fight everybody. So
Yeah, I heard that a lot too. And like the girl I'm dating now, her family is very old school. They grew up like in a small town in Nebraska. Like like Nebraska is already like very white, and they grew up in an even smaller town where everything is white, 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 white. Um, they eventually like got to a point where they accepted that she's gonna like be with me, but like for the longest time it was always like, no, you're supposed to date like why you're supposed to have like this Catholic marriage. They were very like old school, so it's just interesting to hear from like from you guys because you guys are like across upon or yeah, however you guys say it. It's interesting because I didn't think you guys would experience like the same situations, but it's very
oh
like
no.
yeah.
Let me tell you something. Who said that story earlier about it was Sticks, wasn't it? Who said that story earlier about that woman who
mm,
clutched her purse, right? Let
mm,
me tell you
Yeah.
this, bro. My very first experience in life, I think that was the first time that I experienced racism and it stuck with me, yeah, was kind of a similar situation. But I guess this is why I think it's more stuck off of what was back to me than to see it now. Because you see that old woman, yeah, I I think now I'm more seasoned in the terms of how people would deal with me, yeah. Because I don't even know how old I was. I just started secondary school, yeah. I was in year 7, yeah. That's like about what 12, something like that, right? And I was walking home from school, wintertime, and where I was walking was a one-way street, yeah, and there's only pavement on one side. Yeah, there's only pavement on one side of the road. The other, basically, the rest of it was next to a school. Yeah, so there was no pavement there. There's just pavement and road. Yeah. Now I'm walking down this road to go home, and this woman is walking in the opposite direction. But given it's a bit dark, right? She decides to walk in the middle of the street rather than walk past me in the on the pavement. Yeah, and I was like, that's when I was like, wow, what do you think? The funny thing as well, you see what you said as well, Sticks. In my head, lots of things went through my head. I was like, I could grab you anyway. I could. What you've done has not made you safer. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I guess in Coley's head, and what Coley said does also take effect, because I did think to myself as well. Well, I guess you're gonna do whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe in
But
this
can I
situation.
clear?
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing to her. Nothing, obviously.
No, I
I
didn't
just,
say nothing to this
you
woman
know what I
either,
mean?
fam. It
Yeah,
was in
I
the
just
middle
want
of
to
the
make that
road.
clear.
I
I didn't
was
have.
walking.
Yeah,
No, yeah,
Bro,
of
we didn't
course,
say
of course.
anything
No
to
one
each
yeah,
other.
should
yeah.
be
I
yeah,
obviously,
yeah, no one
I'd
should be
laughed to myself and just kept it moving.
I
But
didn't
But I
say to
was
the
more
woman, I could
speaking
kick your
to
pants if I wanted to. That would be just making her more scared of black people. Why would I do that?
exactly.
like
Yeah,
I was more
In
speaking
my
to the disappointment. I was more speaking to the internal disappointment you put on yourself when that happens to you, innit? And for me, it's more it's frustration, it's disappointment at first, and it's like I don't know. Eventually, I come to realize though, yeah, ignorance can be educated.
but
Like
also at
there's
the
a
same
difference.
time, yeah, can I add to what you're saying there, bro? Yeah. Although I mean that was that was the latest incident in racism that I've experienced, but at the same time, adding to what you're saying, yeah, as much as we have experienced these things over time, over in our lifetimes, it's not gonna stop. Unfortunately, as much as we would love it to, and we talk about how we felt through these different experiences, there's going to be something else that's still going to come up because someone will feel confident enough in themselves to say something.
Of course.
You know what I mean? They're going to bring it up, bro.
Yeah.
They're
No,
going to
but
bring up.
No.
can I
It
say
will never
something,
go away.
please, Joe?
Of course.
Yeah,
You've been quiet for a while.
yeah. So earlier on, when I heard the talk of not wanting to hear about slavery or wanting to be associated with slavery, I think a lot of the angst and the discomfort that people feel when they get that kind of response from another race is because of the person not knowing their internal self. Slavery wasn't all of our history. It was a part of our history. And sometimes, yeah, all right, for context, yeah, my parents are Jamaican and I'm black, like no mix up, fully black, right? And
So you may think.
but the funniest
You're
thing is,
Jamaican? You don't know.
I've
Yeah,
done
trust
my
me.
ancestry, yeah, and
Oh, you've done it.
big
Okay,
up,
okay.
big up Roland, because I'm in the 90s. That's all I'm saying, yeah.
All
Uh,
right. Yeah.
and well, according to them anyway. But what I would say is, yeah,
There's still a bit of spice in there
funny thing is,
somewhere.
I come from the most culturally diverse parish in Jamaica, St. Elizabeth.
No way. That's
Yeah,
where my first girlfriend was that I was talking about, and she cool
all
as
right,
hell. So
all
how you
right.
so black?
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother story. But
We'll talk about that another time.
but the whole slavery thing, yeah, is, I think for me, I look at slavery like this. It was a part of our history, not all of our history. But at the same time, I'm lucky to be here because I know there's a whole heap of people who didn't make it, a whole heap of generations who didn't make it. So we've been kind of led to believe through media that slavery is this blight upon our history. We have actually had the opportunity to excel from that history. But, you know, if you look at, let's talk about World War II and all what happened there. Those people, what have they done? They didn't look at it as a blight on their history. They've used it to fuel their future.
No, I
Now,
disagree with what you're saying there a little bit, Super Nick. I'm not gonna lie
how?
to
Come
you.
on,
Yeah, it's
tell me,
it's still
Joe. Come
I'm,
on.
I'm gonna tell you, baby. I'm gonna tell you. Listen, yeah. The thing is, it is still a blight on our history. Yeah. Just because something as you've got benefits from something bad happening doesn't mean it's still
No
not a blight on
benefits,
our
you know.
history.
We're still
Or
here.
you get
We
what I mean?
remember they
Yeah.
tried to wipe us out. We're still here.
That's what I mean. Even look with the stuff that happened with the Jews, yeah, the stuff that
Yeah.
happened with us through slavery,
And they
yeah.
celebrate it all
These
the time. They celebrate it all the time.
listen,
Can I just
And they don't let
interject? Can
people,
I
and they
interject
don't
with
let
a
people
question for you,
forget.
bro?
1 minute.
When
They
did
don't let people
when
forget.
did slavery start though? When did slavery start?
Before time was recorded.
Exactly. Like we're talking about slavery as if it's exclusively to black people, and I don't know
Exactly.
we're not.
Black people used to
But
save black people,
Coley,
and white people used to save
but
white
Coley,
people. You know that,
I
right?
was kind of trying to direct it to the young man who kind of, I could see that slavery for him is something. If you've got a partner who doesn't, you don't want to broach those kind of conversations with, or you don't want to talk about, you know, certain really like racial tensions kind of stuff, it's uncomfortable. But if you're calling yourself and nobody can't tell you about your culture or your history, you know,
No,
just keep
I
it
don't think
moving.
that's it. I don't want to speak for him, but I think the perspective he was coming from is more the case of speaking to his wife about something that's bothered him, as if like showing his wife that he's rattled. I think that's more where he was
I
coming
know I
from.
might be wrong, but like even when he was talking about the situation in Bath, it's like, you know, these things are gonna happen. You gotta be aware and understand how the world is set, you know.
Bath was
But
someone else. Bath was
that's
someone
the only
else.
way
You
you
know,
can
Bath
keep
was
it.
six.
That's the only way you can, like, otherwise you'll drive yourself mad with how people are perceiving you, whether it's your own people or people outside of your race. You really
No,
just
but you
gotta
know
know
what?
yourself.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I understand you completely. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, in a place of like Bath, I know it's not dominated with black people and that. But when you go there, there's a lot of people that's not white. You understand? So, and I've been there loads of times. I'm actually even going there tomorrow. So I'm gonna jump out in a bit. But you know what? When you go there, you see how culture is because everyone goes to Bath. Do you know what I mean? It's not just it's a tourist. It's a tourist destination, basically, isn't it? It's well populated. People go uni there, college. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
So
then maybe
when I
that's the
go,
answer to your problem,
I
bro.
don't expect to. That's the last thing on my mind that I'm expecting to experience. Do you get me? So when it does happen, you're like, raw.
It
Even
takes
here,
go in it. Yeah.
yeah.
But
You know what I
that's
mean?
what I'm saying, bro. You're
Without
dealing with
being rude,
someone.
can I ask how old you are?
I'm 35.
You're 35. Man, listen, I don't wanna,
Look, like I said, like
like,
this is not the first incident of racism I've ever
okay.
experienced. By the way, like I'm
And it's
saying,
not
yeah,
gonna be, I hate to say it, but it probably
it's not going to
won't
be.
be
I
the
said
last.
I did say that too.
Yeah,
I
he
did say
said
that
that. He
too.
said that.
I did say
And
that.
that's why,
My
sweetheart,
first interaction of racism came from the police. Ironically, you
How old
get
were
me?
you?
Huh?
that's a
I
regular
was in my
thing.
teens. Brother. Teens. I was even driving. Yeah. I would. You know what? Yeah. I will never forget it because it was my first ever encounter.
I don't think you ever forget your
I'll
first.
never forget.
Your
Listen, yeah.
first
Me and my
encounter.
brethren at the time, yeah. Me and my brethren, we was on the way to church of all places, yeah. On a Wednesday.
Oh,
On the way, yeah, court bus and everything, broad daylight. Usually by the time we get there, the doors are open in it because you got people that normally open up and thing. Broad daylight on a Wednesday evening. Yeah. Well, because we got there before they did, we were just waiting outside for them to come. Somebody called the police and said, "Free." There's two of us, you know. There's two of us, only me and
inside
my
a
brethren.
church.
Outside the church, there's somebody called the police and said there's three black people trying to break into the church. Before you know it,
Yeah.
there's about
Where you gonna get out of the church?
4 or 5 police cars bombing down the road. Now, bearing in mind, when I say bombing down the road, they was proper. Do you know what I mean? There was proper speeding when they arrived. When one of them stopped on the curb, the road is big enough for them to stop on the road. My man pulled it on the curb and almost hit my brethren's leg. They'll rush to the car. Where's the third person? You come here, you go there. Where's the third person? What third person? Now, my question really should have been to them: how stupid do you think black people are? If we're seeing you coming from the top of the road,
I'm gonna stand there.
you're gonna stand there.
I'll wait
We
for
just
you.
if we're guilty of breaking into an actual church in broad daylight, don't you think
But
we're gonna run,
you're a kid. You're a kid, innit? And these things don't spring
bro?
to mind at the time, and you don't know
Bro,
your rights sometimes as well. Yeah. Hold on,
bro.
before we go any further, though, I wanted to ask Mansecution something, guys.
Oh,
Mansecution, which
sorry,
verse?
Joe. Sorry, Joe. Look, I'm gonna jump out. Yeah, guys. Respect
Oh,
everyone. Yeah, I'm out. Yeah,
all right. Take care, bro.
take it easy, man.
Thank you for joining, though.
No, respect, man. Keep up the good work, man.
I'm gonna try. Take care, man. Listen, Manchukushina, you live in Texas. You have a white girlfriend. You where are you from?
Mexico. Yeah, like I
You're
was
from Mexico. Yeah.
born, and yeah, I moved to the U.S. whenever I was 9 years old.
Just for the English people, because obviously we've spoken a lot about how things go in England, right? How was that for you? And do you have you experienced similar kind of experiences to us when it comes to dating a white person as a Mexican?
I mean, yeah, I would say like I've been told to go back to my country numerous times. I'm sure it won't be the last time, but um,
It's
I
just by randoms or people that know you and her. That's the thing, though. Randoms are, randoms. You're always going to experience random racists.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, like from
One of
people
them
that
was a
you know.
classmate. One of them was one of my like best buddy. Well, he used to be one of my best friends growing up. His sister. I was like, whoa, okay.
Show you
But
how the family really talks about you when you leave the house, isn't it?
I
That's what
guess,
happened there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But
So
anyway,
it's
go on. Let
just
me hear your experience.
I guess it's just one of those things that you learn. It's tough, I think, because growing up in a different country, sometimes like that sense of identity is difficult, right? Because you know where you're from, but then after a certain point in time, I go back to Mexico and I don't recognize a lot of things, or like my
How
own
long you
family.
been? How long you been in Texas?
Fuck, 21 years. Yeah. So I've been
Damn.
so I've been in the States longer than I've been in Mexico, but
So there you go.
I was
That's like
born.
me in England.
All my family's from there. The only family I have here in the U.S. are my parents. That's it.
Mm.
So everything else is from Mexico. So it's it's one of those that I guess kind of you learn to assimilate to a certain degree. Of course, I would say like I've been blessed with having a very open-minded person as a partner. Right? I think Jess, she cooks
What's her
Mexican
family like as well?
dishes. Yeah,
What
yeah,
about family? Yeah, because
I
that's
think
what's
so.
really important.
Yeah, her family's definitely been accepting, for sure. I know that the uncomfortable conversations have had to happen, and I've been there
Mm.
for those conversations. I remember during
How did
the
those go as well? So when you say uncomfortable conversations, right? So this is what I want to hear. Yeah, these
yeah.
uncomfortable conversations, right? When you say uncomfortable conversations, what were they talking to you about? What was it? What was so
Yeah, yeah.
uncomfortable
So I
about these
mean,
conversations?
I think one of the things I remember, probably one of the most powerful, I'll say, it wasn't necessarily an argument. It was sort of a debate on the during 2020 Black Lives Matter entire
Mm.
era. There was this whole uh, I don't want to say agenda, but narrative, more like that. That it was a front to loot stores and steal things, and all that.
I
And
remember that.
and I remember Jessica got into kind of a heated discussion with her father about it, and she kind of ended the discussion ultimately by saying, "You do realize that your children are not going to be 100% white, right? Or your grandchildren, sorry, are not going to be 100% white. And so the reality that you're seeing right now, you have to start looking at it a completely different way." And that shut him up for completely. Like, and I think it was one of those things that like he never had an issue accepting me, or anything like that. Has never said anything negative like that, but it kind of put it into like a completely different perspective for him, to kind of realize like there's maybe sometimes
Yeah,
you might be creating
they
more.
ain't gonna be completely white. But we just realized. So, do you feel like he had a problem with that after that then? Or do you feel like it was more of an eye opener where he had to
I think it
accept
was
it?
a more of an eye opener, definitely. I don't think he had it as I guess the whole like BLM movement, like he kind of changed his stance on it afterwards.
But do you know what though? I'm asking you this, yeah. What do you want me to call you right now, by the way? Your alias or your real name?
That doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean
Uh,
it's like the
uh,
worst kept secret in the world.
I know, right? Well, listen, as here's the thing though, and I'm gonna use this perfectly now, then, so I can call you both, right? So, do you think the reason why it hit him so hard in the face, right, that day, is because you've always been Santi up until that point, not realize because you're quite well spoken, you're quite well to do for, you've done well in your career, and then you turn around and then if you really wanted to, you could be the executioner at any point. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's he's disconnected you from that kind of person because you don't act or speak a certain way. Do you know what I mean? And this is why certain people, when people say acceptable black or acceptable, will use that acceptable Mexican to them. Do you
No,
understand
but
what I mean by that?
Joe, but hold on, that acceptable bit is that's a cynical spin. They're only doing the
I
same
know.
thing that
I'm asking the question
no,
that
no,
way
but
on
just
purpose.
I'm just saying he's only doing the same thing black people do. Like if I as a half Nigerian, if I bring a white girl home, they want to know if she can do certain Nigeria, like, or she knows certain Nigeria, or at least they want to see her assimilate into the culture, and that's what you're describing there. Santi's obviously
No,
assimilated himself to a point where
no,
the
no,
parent
no.
feels. What do you mean? You
I'm gonna
just said
say
he's
no
well
because
spoken, he's well
no,
to
no, no, no,
do
no. But
for.
that's there's a difference between assimilating though, because here's the thing, yeah. Him accepting, okay, me having if I have a white girlfriend, bro, yeah, and bringing her to my family, they don't expect her to talk like us or act like us, yeah, and do whatever. But
Yeah, yeah.
because the way he was basically gentrified. He's not like a typical Mexican. Do you understand that? Just crossed the border, bro. He's well spoken. He can do certain things. He's got a good job. He's above what they think an average Mexican person is. Do you
What we
understand what I'm
arguing
saying?
about here? From the white person's
What I'm
perspective,
telling you,
he
because
has assimilated into the white man's world. What were we
yeah,
arguing
but
about?
you just bro, because I don't expect. Put it this way, yeah, I feel people of different colors have to assimilate more than white people do have to assimilate to us, people of color. Do you understand what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying now?
I get
Yeah,
what you're saying in terms
because you
of a
said that you didn't
general
bring a
like
white person.
expectation. I get what you're saying in terms of a general expectation, but I'm trying to say to you, yeah, it's a human mechanism for people to want that, regardless of their color.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean,
human mechanism.
Yes, I know. I think there's a certain level that's. But go on, go on.
Albeit you're like we're weaving in the fact like the gentrification bit and the like we're weaving in things that have got to do with the fact that, let's be honest, we live in a world that has been built by, well, dictated by white people. But like essentially, when you take away that bit and you look at, because his father-in-law, who we're discussing right now, he's not like, do you know what I mean? He's not the prime white guy who's out here telling everyone they've got to be married to blue-eyed blue-eyed and blonde-haired people. He's just a white guy that is seeing a Mexican guy act like all of the other white guys he sees. So it's like, from his perspective, this kid is taking on our American culture, as they would put it. So that's why he doesn't have a problem with it. The same way as if you brought a white girl home and all of a sudden she can whip up jerk chicken and get me. Like people on your
No,
side
no,
would be
no.
going, oh, well, she's not so bad.
Well, watch this, yeah. I'm gonna just be real with you, yeah. Look,
okay.
imagine this. Actually, no, we was talking about this all came up from Manchukutioner's comments, right? But I'm gonna say this, yeah. Imagine this, yeah. I sound like I'm an English boy. I was born and raised here, but I was just raised here, right? I'm actually Jamaican. Now, if you was to get, I don't know, like an African with a hard accent, yeah, but 10 times smarter than me, was a doctor in his country, yeah, but he doesn't present himself properly and comes across very brash and has the hard African accent, yeah, they would be less accepting of him than me because I can speak properly. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Or in their
Yeah.
Do you understand what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're
And that
saying the
is not.
same thing as
Are
me.
you saying no? No, I'm not, bro. Yeah, because what I'm trying to say to you is, yeah, you see what exactly what Pros Only Sports says here, right? That's not assimilating. Yeah, we stop confusing intelligence for comfortability. Now, when he says that, yeah, I think I'm not going
Conformity. It says conformity.
to. Sorry, for conformity. Sorry, yeah. Now, when you're conforming, yeah, it means that you're bending over backwards to please people. Yeah,
Okay,
and
all right, but again, I can put such a bro. I can put a spin on this. That it's the same thing the other way around, bro. A white girl, you bring a white girl home, she wants to cook like you, she wants to get her hair braided. There will be some black girl in your family sitting there saying that she's a bigot. So what are you talking
This is
about,
what
bro?
I'm getting,
Okay.
but
It's
this
a
is not what
human
I'm.
mechanism,
You know,
fam.
yeah, man's
That's
accusation.
different.
We're
Man's
Hold
saying
on.
the
Wait,
same
hold on.
thing.
yeah,
Coley,
yeah,
here.
man's
I
accusation
have
with that.
a interesting story. I find it funny, and I don't not everybody else might find it funny. So
Mhm.
I mean I do think that there is a certain
Extreme.
level of judgment that happens whenever people hear, you know, maybe a specific accent or the way that you talk or maybe the way
Yes.
that you present yourself. I
Mhm.
don't think that's necessarily assimilating. I think it would be different if I was, you know, talking bad about Mexicans and, you know, kind of
Yeah.
doing things that, you know, probably would be like, let me fit in with the white people. Now,
Cracking jokes about your own
the
country and shit like that.
I will say I experienced what I'm not sure if it's 100% racism, but was driving from Manchester to Edinburgh. There is a really small little red farm on the way there where you can go get ice cream, and Jessica was like, "Hey, let's go get ice cream there." So we did. I'm like, all right, whatever. Let's pull off the road and go get ice cream. We walk in, right? For those that don't know, Jessica's white, blonde, very white. So she walks in. I walk in right
Very
behind
white.
her, and I mean, I immediately see some kind of suspect looks, not from anybody who is running the business, not you know, it was from different patrons that were happened to be there, and the absolute change of expression on their face whenever I opened my
Mm,
mouth and spoke went from, you know, angry or disgusted to what the hell, and just visible confusion, and then just didn't really even know what to do with themselves, because they didn't know what to make of me. They're like, we don't know what this guy is
yep.
anymore, and so therefore any judgment that they had on me prior to, so, you know, whether that was racism or they were judging me on something, but it was a really weird experience, and I just felt like I left there, like that place, and I was like, that was really odd. I don't know how I feel about this. I
Did
kind
she
of
feel it? Did she feel it though? Because there's the thing. There's,
she
you know
didn't
what?
notice.
That's what I'm saying. See those little things there. I feel this almost falls into what Super Nick was saying earlier about our insecurities as the colored person dating the white person. Do you know what I mean? We
Hey,
notice eyes straight away.
can,
Well,
can,
I would say I did anyway.
yeah, can I chime in a little bit? Yeah.
Yes, please, CM, man.
Hey,
Welcome, by the
big
way,
up,
CM, guys. CM, big guy. Hey, listen, this guy has been around for a while. Big up to you, CM. Thank you
Hey,
very much
CM,
for
big
joining
up.
the
big
show,
up,
bro.
big up, man. And this is kind of like chiming in on a bit of what you just spoke about, Joe, in terms of self acceptance, right? Because I think it's very important, especially in this day and age, that the education of where you actually come from comes from your parenting, because you know, growing up in England, you don't get taught your own history, and I'm sure it's the same for many places that you know, are not predominantly with black people in within the country, that grew up within the country and that build the country from the ground up. At the end of the day, the reason why we are so kind of aware of how people look at us or what people think about us, a lot of the time, for me at least, of what I've observed, is because we cannot accept ourselves within a specific environment. And when we grow up, you know, as a kid, you're a lot more confident, and then you start to grow up and you start to observe things within the area you grow up in, the schools that you go to, and the people that you encounter, and you start to realize, and that's when your personality and your character really starts to develop, and you start to kind of, some people may become more reserved, some people are more out there and confront those things, and Court speaks about imposter syndrome. That is a part of the journey and the story at the end of the day. But from what I've seen, from my perspective, I'm 23 years old. I've gone through the school system and all of that stuff. But people that are black like me, for a lot of the time, I've seen them grow up and they know nothing about where they come from. And at the end of the day, the only thing that creates is a massive issue for that person as they grow older, because they grow up in an environment where suddenly they're treated with equality, and they don't know how to handle that because they don't know who they are from within. And I heard somebody kind of bring up the topic of growing up in a certain place and kind of becoming that environment. So you grow up in England, you adopt a lot of those English traits, and you don't have the traits of where you actually come from. So Jamaica, for example, you know what I mean? Whereas if there was education and effort on a lot of the parents' side, not saying all parents don't, but I feel like a lot of parents leave that education behind, and it hurts a lot of people from different ethnicities and cultures, because then that's when they start to develop those characteristics of self-hatred, because they don't understand where they are from and who they are. And I feel like in the case of Black people, our people, for example, if we were to understand where we came from and to embrace it and to experience that culture like I have been privileged to from a very young age, then that sense of kind of not accepting from within internally, because even from when it comes to the way Black people interact with each other, I see a lot of the time there is almost self-hate traveling from one person to another. And a lot of that is due to the fact that we don't understand where we come from. We don't understand our culture, and the way we are educated comes from inaccurate people or inaccurate sectors of the world who try to push what Black culture is to a Black person, and they ain't even Black.
Do you know what though? But and see what you just touched on there though, yeah. Oh, bro, you said a lot. But you know the funny thing is, yeah, Black culture has been diluted so much. Right? There's a guy on YouTube right now that I've been watching a lot of. He's from America, but he lives over here right now. He lives in Europe somewhere, right? But he's always in London, right? Always in Piccadilly, particularly, right? And his name's Thomas, right? And he asks this question to Black people all the time: what is Black British culture? And you know what? He's asked so many people, yeah. And I think my answer, if he ever butts up on me, would be: there is no such thing as Black British culture.
Exactly.
Yeah? There is no such thing as Black British culture. As much as I think Britain is one of the biggest melting, I think England is bigger melting pot than America is. Yeah, and I've had arguments with American people about this as well. Yeah, but the reason why I say that is because you'll find so many people in one area, yeah, of different races, countries, or whatever. In America, I feel like it's very divided still. In terms of, you got people living here that are from Jamaica, people living there that are from Africa, people living there that are from Italy, people living there that are from Mexico. You still have these very divided areas. Manchukution, am I right or wrong?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I was actually going to mention is, of course, being from across the pond, certain terms like, like wagwan or like mandem or whatever, like, I thought that was just UK slang. I didn't realize that there was like a particular like subset of like.
See, it's Jamaicans that say wagwan. Yeah, Jamaicans say wagwan. Wagwan. Yeah, it's a Jamaican thing, but everybody says it in England now.
But that is to answer the question. That is British. That's British culture, and like it's not. It's bro.
No.
Don't shake your head. Don't shake your head. Let me land. Let me land before you understand. Before you understand what I'm gonna say. If you take the black out of it, yeah. If you take the black out of it, you understand what Britain is. And this it touches on what I asked you earlier about the slavery thing as well. Like, bro, British culture is accumulation of like robbed, hijacked, and almost what's the word I'm looking for? Kidnapped cultures, bro. Like,
yeah, like British culture is different to Black British culture, but the thing is, what I'm saying is there is no Black British culture. Yeah, British culture is exactly what you're saying it is. Yeah, it's an accumulation of other people's cultures. Yeah, that's what British culture is.
you
Yeah,
keep acting like you disagree with me, then you say the exact same thing as me, bro. I
bro,
understand what
because
you're doing to that. I'm so
because
confused, fam.
you separated Black British culture and British culture. You said that basically
They're one in the same thing. They're one in the same thing. Black culture, Black British culture is this. All right, so let's take the time. Let me land my point. Yeah, let's take the
Yeah, I
terminology
didn't
of
say my
Wagwan.
definition of it yet, by the way. That's why I was going to say
Cool,
no.
no worries.
Go on.
Let's take the terminology of Wagwan because this isn't the first time I've heard this coming from an American. Yeah. So for the perception across the pond for Wagwan, which is Jamaican terminology, yeah, for that to be the perception of it's British, that shows you that we've got a lot of British people that are not Jamaican using that terminology. And what I'm trying to say to you is that is the British mantra. Any kind of swag that comes in here, any kind of curry, any kind of jerk chicken, and
Just teeth.
yes, no, we slap a
Basically,
British on there, or we put a Cockney accent on there, and now it's something British culture. Now it's in
that
Asian
is
British
British
culture,
culture. Let me
and
not,
now
let
it's
me not offend anybody.
right, huh?
But I was
No,
about to say something. I
but
think I offend
But that's
the whole
part of
country
the
that I'm in.
experiment. That's part of the experiment. That's how you keep it a melting pot, and that's why it is a bigger melting pot. Because the experiment here is, yeah, how much of you lot can we cram into one space that we know really and truly you don't really go together? Yeah, there's plenty of reasons why you're different, but if we cram loads of you together, actually you're quite profitable, and actually you consume quite a lot. You consume a lot to try and stay close to the land that we brought you from. You bring the things that come from the land you come from, i.e. the food, the clothes, the music. Like actually without all of these culture, these hijacked cultures, what are we looking at? And I'm not being disrespectful to England. I'm not being disrespectful to England or in fact British people, because this is only indicative really of when you talk about Britain. When you break it down, Scotland's got a rich culture, an individual rich culture. Wales also has an individual rich culture, own languages, own clothes, own music. It's only when you get to England and that's why they do this. That's why they do this. Shit. Who come here? We're Britain. We're Britain. Yeah, kilts. You know
You know
kilts.
what?
No,
You know
but
what?
that's Scotland. That's Scotland. Shit. Then a curry. Yeah, but that's it. That's yeah, but these don't live here. Yeah, because you dragged them here. Yeah. Oh, okay. One sec.
Bro,
Let
the
me
only thing English, Cornish pasties, shepherd's pies, and fish and chips. Yeah, these are
Yeah.
national English dishes. Yeah,
I don't even know.
shepherd's
I
pie,
swear fish
cottage
and chips
pies.
ain't even this. I swear fish and chips is from Scandinavia somewhere.
You might even be right on that one, bro. Right, but
But
you can't
anyway,
deny a Cornish pasty. It's called a Cornish pasty.
no, yeah, of course, obviously. But
but
you get where I'm
but
coming from, innit? That's what I
no,
was
no,
saying.
of
That's what I was
course.
saying. Like the whole term Black British, yeah, is personified in Antonio's example. Their perception of that word and attributing it to Black British or British slang goes to show that we've actually they've stamped their name on it so much that actually there's people out there thinking like, right, it didn't just come from around
Just
the
a
corner.
British thing. Yeah,
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 it
yeah,
didn't just
yeah.
come from down the road. Like it actually
No
did just come
separation.
from around
Yeah.
the corner from you lot. Do you know what I'm saying?
But that's what I think England's always been good at. That's one thing you have to realize about England as a whole. And you know what? I got to end the show soon, guys. So this is the last thing I'm going to say on this, and then ask everybody to say their goodbyes here. But England as a whole, and this is going to probably be the next show, like British culture, what the hell it really means, isn't it? Yeah. But that's what England has been good at from the very beginning, fam. How is Jamaica a part of England? How's Australia a part of England? How is my man's country? Where are you again?
Bermuda.
Where are you again, young puppy?
Bermuda.
Bermuda.
Bermuda,
How is
Bermuda.
Bermuda part England? Fam, England have their fingers in so many pies. That's how they won wars. Yeah, they
Nah,
had
hold on,
colonies.
Joe. Let's just
Colonies.
be
Yeah.
correct. Let's just be factually correct. We're talking about British colonies. We're not talking about English colonies. Just be careful here.
From
'Cause
England, no, bro, England. Yes, because bro, Britain is now Britain because Scotland and Ireland and all that. But guess what we took them over? England. They fought Scotland, fam. They fought, bro. They
yeah,
fought
okay.
everybody. They fought
We're back
everyone.
again. Checking
Yeah.
deck.
Did you not watch
Yeah, I didn't
Braveheart?
realize
Yeah.
it's checking deck.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Bro, they fought everybody. They wanted to take over everything. Yeah. And they did for the most part. Yeah. Let's face it. There's Christopher Columbus and all that kind of stuff. Who discovered America? All that, Britain came over there. Then there was the Civil War. Then they broke up. England don't like America, but like that's Britain. That's bigger Britain over there. Yeah, you don't understand all of this kind of stuff, fam. England has their fingers had their fingers in so many pies. Yeah, they've had to release power over the years and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's how England has become Great Britain and has made such a big name for themselves. I was such a small island. England's not even a country. England is an island. Yeah. England is a blood seed island. It's so small on the blip on the globe, but it's controlled so much of the world. Yeah, how do you think they've done that? Integration, and they've been doing it for so many years, bro. It's natural. Yeah, they integrate everything into this country, and then they push it out as their own. Yeah,
yeah,
rebranding and re-emitting. But anyway, guys, this is going to be a different show because we just touched on another subject which I like, so that I could do another show. So you know what? We're gonna do what culture is in the UK or in Britain completely. Like, what is British culture? Maybe we'll do that show next. Yeah. But let me just say a big thank you to everybody that's pulled up today. Yeah. CM, thank you, bro. You pulled up right at the end, but thank you, bro, for your
Appreciate you,
input. You had
bro.
some very, very wise words to say at the end, man. Big up yourself.
Joe,
You wanna plug your
before
show
you
real quick?
stop the stream, I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
Santi something, if that's
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, talk
Yeah,
your
by all
talk.
means.
Yeah. So Santi, right? When I heard you say the word assimilate, I knew what you meant, but it can be perceived a certain way. But then I think about how things are very different in America. For example, I have cousins, Jamaican cousins, who leave from Jamaica and go to America. And the next time I see them, they've lost their Jamaican accent. Now, I don't think that's by mistake. I think that in America, you're kind of led to have to become American, fully American, and you're regardless, irrespective of what your ancestry is. No.
I feel it. I'm gonna answer this question, and the
No,
reason why
stop.
I'm
Let
gonna
me
answer this
finish,
No,
question,
she's talking to
Joe.
Santi, bro. Let her talk to
Let
Santi.
you know
me
what?
finish.
You know
Let
what?
me finish because I know
I'm gonna
what you're
be.
gonna say. So stop.
Lord.
Stop right there.
Okay.
So Santi, sorry, as I
Yeah.
was saying before I was rudely interrupted. Listen, I think that the old American dream, even as much as like when you have your devotionals in the morning and being, having to sing the anthem, all those kind of things play on somebody's psyche. And also coming from Mexico, where there's a caste system, all those kind of things play into having to, fit into that American dream. Am I wrong or am I right?
I think with that, I guess what I would say about that, like my accent is just because I learned English as a child. I didn't, deliberately drop an accent just because, we speak Spanish. It's a completely different language altogether. Now, I guess I would say, in terms of the American dream, the American dream is dead. Like, it's not a thing. It's a big lie that is just posted in a certain way, and I think it's interesting because I would actually, I would say that the more I learn about English culture or English people, the more I feel like American white people are similar to American or English white people. And American minorities are similar to UK minorities, just because there's so many parallels in that way. There's so many of those things, of that expectation of you're in my country, well, you're going to speak English, when America doesn't have an official language by laws or anything like that. There is a lot of the expectation to dropping certain norms because you're, I guess, the way that I've seen it here is like, oh, well, you're in America, you're going to act the way that American people do. And I think a lot of it is just,
It's the colonies, it's the colonist playbook, really. Because my mum was from the older generation and she went to school in Jamaica and she was led to believe that this country was a certain kind of way. And she came here and things were very different. But when she came here, it was made very apparent that her being a Jamaican was not good enough. And so when she had her children, she kind of didn't want to push it on us, but she kind of wanted to make sure we didn't have too much of a strong accent, because for her, that was detrimental in where she could find somewhere to live or where she could get a job or how she was perceived in society. So it's the colonizer's playbook. It's like, yeah, you can come and do whatever, but you have to do what we say and be like how we are. Taylor's oldest time.
Do you know what? I'm going to say something now.
And I know you're going to oppose it. And before you oppose it, Joe,
I'm not going to
I'm going to
oppose it.
say
I'm not going to
it's not
oppose it.
everybody, because I say that about my mum. Nobody had a stronger Jamaican accent than her, but she just knew when to code switch.
Let me tell you this now, yeah. Honestly, I'm not gonna really oppose it as to say that I just don't think it's sometimes it's not on the place that you're in as well, yeah. Sometimes it's on the individual, yeah. Because I don't know how old you said that you were again, Manchester, when you moved to Texas and that, yeah. But I was 7 when I came to England, yeah. And I wanted nothing more than to fit in for people to. I'll tell you something, yeah. Have you ever? I don't know if you've ever been a new person in a new country, right? And you speak a certain different dialect to the people, yeah. Because obviously I still speak English, but I was speaking patois, yeah. And you know, want to the man, want you, blah 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 blah, all that kind of thing, yeah. And I'll never forget, like when I was like in year 6, which means I've been in the country for a good 4 years now, yeah. And we was just getting ready to leave primary school to go into secondary school, right? One of my friends said to me, I remember when I first met you, I never understood a word you were saying, you know, mate. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, he was like, all that rascal, bumbleclot shit. I was like, I never said that in my life because I was a youth, yeah? Right? At the time, right? But that's how he explained it to me, right? Yeah? He's like, all that rascal, bumbleclot shit you were talking when you first came. I never understood you. I was just like, he was just nodding and being nice, he said, yeah? But then he said he remembered that, like, when it started changing. And I know when it changed as well, yeah? Because when I first came to England, I never understood what in it. I was like, what in it? What the fuck? What the hell does that mean? Yeah, in it. Yeah. And the day I understood what it meant is I used it in a sentence, and I was like, oh right, I fit in now. Do you understand? Yeah. And you see what you said about what Super Nick was saying about people going to America and losing their accent straight away and coming back and they didn't have the accent. I'll tell you this right now, Super Nick. Maybe it's a thing of where I was so young and going to different countries because I went to England. My dad lived in America, so I used to go from England to America. Yeah. My mom would say that when I come back from America, you start sounding American. What's wrong with you? Yeah. Or when I go to Jamaica, they say, why do you sound more Jamaican now again? I fit in wherever dialect I go, because I felt like I've had to pick up things quickly over the years, if you understand what I mean. And that need to wanting to fit in is also a need where that comes from, where people try to just pick up accents quickly. The need to be understood as well.
There's actually a specific part of your brain actually that does that automatically, but that is a completely different discussion. I will say that sometimes there are. There's a very frustrating. Let me rephrase my sentence. There's a show called Modern Family. It has a very impactful
I love that
scene,
show.
where Gloria is arguing with her husband, and she says, "You don't know how smart I am in my own language."
Yes, I remember that scene. Yeah.
And I feel like there is a specific stigma, perhaps, to accents when. And this is primarily from either American folks, perhaps English folks. I'm sure probably English folks, but it's one of those things where like, okay, this person can speak multiple languages and they're speaking their second language to you, but you treat them as if they were stupider than you. How many languages do you actually know?
Do you know what? Where's my
That's true. That's true.
That is so true.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Do you know what? And the way,
but listen.
To be honest, if I go to Jamaica, right, and I speak like this, I'm not going to get things at local rate, right? So
you know it. You have to switch it up. But that doesn't, you know what Manchester was just saying though, yeah? I feel that so much, bro, yeah? That's why I was saying that. Remember when I was saying to you about if a person with a hard African accent than me, he could be 10 times smarter than me. But because I might walk into a job and just get along with the boss and know how to talk the talk. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I might more get the job because of the way I speak. And this is how things are perceived in life. That's why certain people want to just fit in, want to just be able to, like, and I hate saying this term, but speak properly. But what's speaking properly? If you listen, anyway, That's
Bro,
what I was
that is
trying to.
I
that
say
that
same
is
thing
one of the main
always.
downfalls of our society right now. It's one of the main downfalls, bro. That here, you what you just said is a prime example. You can get the job as someone less qualified, more attractive, easier to get on with, easier to speak to, just a better personality. And it's such a dead trait when you look at like productivity. Do you know what I'm saying?
True.
And all of the people that you've overlooked from an actual practical, like we said, those five linguists, like those people that are actually intelligent, get me, but you can't get past the barrier of the accent.
How they
But
talk.
yeah, it's a genuine thing, and it's a genuine issue that actually holds society back, because there's other countries that don't do that. There's other
It's
countries
so
that don't do
funny
that.
how that other accents are so accepting across the world. You know, you come across, you go if you go to America, it's talk like this. You're right, mate. You're right. Oh, he sounds so fucking intelligent. What do you mean I sound intelligent? I'm talking the most ghettoest English you could ever hear. Yeah, but you people think I sound intelligent. Why is it that certain accents come across so much differently in, like even in your own country? Yeah, because you see what Max Execution was saying there about you don't know how smart I'm in my own country, right? There was an episode of I do believe it was King of Queens, where Carrie, she's a New Yorker, right? And she talks like, give me a coffee, get me that kind of talk. Like she talks like that, right? And there was a woman from Texas as well. They talk funny, but they had to calm the way they speak to get a certain role. Do you know what I mean? And it just goes to show you it's not just across the world, it's in your own country as well. Because even in Jamaica, you only see people on the news talking a certain way. I know people over here won't know it, yeah, but there's nice Jamaican talking and there's ghetto Jamaican talking, yeah. And until you watch Jamaican news, you won't know the difference between the two. Yeah? There's actually nice Jamaicans and talking and ghetto Jamaican talking, and you might not be able to tell the difference between them, but
Same
it's
with
out there.
Bermudian.
But society always decides on this pyramid what is more desirable and what is less desirable. And a lot of times we don't always fit in the desirable category. So that's how the assimilation kicks in.
Everybody wants to be desirable and everybody wants to be accepted. And you know what?
Yes. That's a nice place to end it.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Guys, thank you once again. And you know what? Let me say, who's going to go say bye first? You know what, CM? Do you want to shout at your channel and all that?
Hey, much love, bro, and big up yourself on these shows, man. It's important to have these conversations.
I like them, bro. I like them.
Yeah, with everybody tuning in and educating and debating. I feel like debating is a lost art nowadays, where a lot of the people on social media, we butt heads, we argue with each other, we say you're wrong, I'm right. Everybody wants to be correct, but
there's no learning. There's no learning.
We can literally learn from each other if we sit down in a room or on the internet and listen to everybody else's opinions and mix our own opinion with that and adapt with time. So big up to Joe, big up to everybody on the panel.
Well said. I love that. Hey, CM, big up yourself, bro. Yo, young Pappy.
Yes, my boy.
Talk to me, bro. Thank you for joining. See, and this is what we mean as well by getting different opinions from across the world. You're in Bermuda. I never even knew it was like that out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's calm still. Like, you guys go through our same things as every other country. But yeah. But when I can tell you, I lived out in Nottingham, I had the same issues you did, but I got tired of repeating myself, so I had to just get on with the language.
See? Yeah, you know what? I wonder how much black people have been through the same sort of similarities across the world, just trying to fit in,
Yeah, you have to. Just to be understood, that's all. And you ain't got to repeat yourself again and again and again.
That's what it is, And you have to try and say it so they understand it. But listen, guys, I can't wait for the next show. Hope you join. And thank you for joining again, yeah?
Big up yourself over this, man.
Thank you, bro. Listen, and we bring in Brush as well so you can say his goodbye. But Mansecutioner, actually, no, Super Nick first, actually. Super Nick, yeah? We really needed the opinion of a woman in here. So thank you for pulling up, right? And thank you as well to Dr. NHS for pulling up for the short time she did as well, because I think on this subject, we've gone completely left. I think the second half of the show, right? We're talking about other things, but on the Snow Bunny stuff and on the being called a chocolate woman stuff, thank you for your opinions as well, man.
You're welcome, Joe. Anytime.
Thank you so much. And I hope I catch you again on the show, man.
Yeah, won't be a stranger. Be sick of me
Thank
soon.
you. No. We need a woman's voice in this area. There's too much mess, but thank you. Too many,
Take
man.
care. Good night, everybody.
Take care. Take care, Super Dick. Coley.
Yo.
My crash out brother. I love that when we're in this space, we don't crash out still. Yeah.
No,
we're very level-headed in this space.
You know why? Because football's passion, isn't it? This is politics is like real recognized, real, isn't it? Like, and like what we were saying last night. I'm not married to my opinions, bro. Like, that's really where.
For real.
Like, I'm more than willing to learn from yourself. I'm more than willing to learn from anyone that comes and calls in. I'm more than willing to learn from my child, like in general. Like, a wise
you never
man knows
know
he
when
knows
you
nothing.
find education, bro. You can
Bro,
learn
a wise
something
man
new
knows.
every single
A
day.
wise man knows he knows nothing. Yeah, like you can never know everything from anything.
I like that one. I like that one. Hey,
But-
on that note, Coley, thank you very much for joining, bro.
Sick.
And we'll see you on the next one, probably.
Of course, bro. When is it?
Hey, listen, I don't know yet. Just calm down. Calm down.
See what? No,
I'm
you.
doing it
How can
wrong,
you be
bro.
asking
Allow
people for
me. Allow
commitments
me.
and you don't even know when it's gonna be, bro? Make me a mod. I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself.
You're gonna do what yourself?
I'll do. I'll do.
Yeah, if I make
I'll
you
do-
mod, that you only control the room, bro. It doesn't control.
Oh
You can't
well,
do
I wanna control everything. I want to do a stream. I want to control everything.
All right, you know, we'll talk.
Give me power. I want power. Safe.
Listen, we live in a citizen. Look at this black people taking help out from other black people. What's going on, man? Can't we all just get along? Joking. Hey, listen, Brushinho, Brush Master. How you doing, fam?
Big
Actually,
stream,
no, I
bro.
don't like that. After the conversation, I'm not calling you Brush Master. Brush. Listen,
No, it was a
bro.
big stream, bro.
Thank you very
Shout
much.
out
It
to
was a
you
long
for
stream.
doing it.
Listen, I do like having these conversations though, but these conversations do tend to last long. But I feel like it's a good place where everybody can learn about other people's situation as well.
Absolutely, that's what this is all about, man.
And I'm enjoying it because it's things that Manchukution has said, things that Cody said. You know, he's got that mixed race experience under his belt. Manchukution,
And you know the other thing as well, Joe. Like with all these experiences, yeah, you all find common ground.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's funny how similar the experiences are, even though we're living halfway across the world.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like, we're definitely gonna have to do a show on identity as well one of these days, because that's a big thing for a lot of us.
When you say identity, what do you mean exactly?
So
Can we
basically,
clarify a little bit more?
So, for example, I'm the child of immigrants in it. So when you are born and raised in a country where you don't reflect the general population, it's a bit of a mad one, isn't it? And I think that's something that a lot of us can relate to. Now, overseas or here,
I've never thought about that, you know, because obviously I am the immigrant. Yeah. I am the immigrant, so I know where I come from. But you know, when you can't even imagine, I need to speak to my children about that because they're born here, but they
it's
know
one of
daddy's
them ones,
Jamaican.
bro. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and
because
they're
funny
black.
enough, we'll have to get into that in another show. But I'll have to share some of my experiences.
I want to know how Cody feels about that as well, because he's half like Nigerian as well. Like, what?
Yeah, because that's a real struggle, you know. That's a real but that's a real struggle, bro. When you're born and raised here, but when your parents are not from here and they see this as the foreign country, it's a madness.
I might just have to keep doing daily shows. You know, I feel like I get another subject after every show. I get another, bro. This is why I said to Cody, I don't know, because I might just do another show tomorrow.
And listen, the level of consistency is sick. I'm not gonna push it to a third day in a row, but if you could do this like week by week or whatever, it'll be a great start.
I like to talk sometimes. I like to talk, innit? I like the conversation, but you know what? We might have to do it tomorrow. But I'll let you guys know. You'll see a post anyway. But Brush, speak up yourself and thank you as always for joining. Yeah. Peace. Right, Manchecutioner, bro.
Mr. Joe Blackman himself.
Hey, we're back to Manchecutioner. Santi's gone. Yeah, where was that guy, by the way, on KG show earlier, fam? He was in the mask, but talking. But
I got
see, you mixed
yeah.
everybody up. The gentrification took over Manchecutioner as well, fam. What happened?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that don't let anybody know, but Manchecutioner is supposed to be a stereotypical
Mexican, right? It's supposed to, exactly.
yeah.
And then he was
So,
talking like, yeah, well, you know, I'm going to do my mortgages this weekend. I was like, what? Who's this guy? You confused the character, bro. But anyway,
I know. So I got stressed by that front line, but yeah. Anyway, another show idea, I suppose, is I know that you talked about maybe like gentrification or certain colonization. Would be interesting to discuss how I would say colonization has impacted the way that people view certain cuisines. So food, how people view food.
Why is it certain foods are popular? You know, Chinese, Mexican, but
Hey, like
nobody. I don't see a lot of Nigerian restaurants, or you know, people are not ordering a lot of Nigerian food. Jamaicans, you know, one thing I noticed as well, yeah, in England, I'll tell you this much right now. Asian people, particularly Chinese people, so I shouldn't say Asian because obviously you're Eastern Asians as well, right? So you're Asian people, Chinese people that I've seen over here, they only eat from Chinese places. Do you know that when they go out? Like, but a Jamaican person, you see, when we go out, we don't order Jamaican food. Do you know that? We'll order everybody else.
yeah.
I've seen that difference in people's cultures. Yeah, certain cultures only eat their own food. Yeah, and I know that my culture, we tend to not eat our own food. We say our food at home is better than what they can cook, so we won't eat their food.
That's how I feel about Mexican food and the bastardization that is Mexican food presented by the U.S. But that is an entire different
and
topic.
the English, bro. You want to see what they've done to your food over here?
No,
Trust me,
I've heard the
it's not
atrocities.
pretty.
I've heard the
It's
atrocities.
not good, bro. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that. Good idea. Good
Hey,
idea. Yeah.
big up,
Already
bro.
got me talking. Thank you, man. Like every time, Santi. Thank you. Do you know what, guys? Thank you again for another great show. And if you watch till the end, thanks, because you've been here for a long time. If you skip through, also thanks. But if you have been here and you have been watching, please make sure you slap the like button. Thanks again to the whole panel that turned up, everyone that pulled through. I'm going to try and keep this as consistent as possible. I am enjoying the content. Yeah, so guys, hopefully I see you guys again soon. I can't tell you when I'll be back, but I will be back, and take care. Peace.
Hot like 100. Hello.
Loading.